Chapter 1360. Whoosh, coming out of the ancient desolate space, he didn't see Zishuan in the courtyard, nor did he know where Little Star had run off to. Du Xiaofu stretched lazily on the mountainside, then disappeared. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared, he was already standing in front of an ancient building. The vast plaza was simple and unadorned. Occasionally, there would be a few youths walking on the plaza. Seeing Du Xiaofu arrive, some of the youths smiled and nodded, secretly in awe. Although they weren't too enthusiastic, they no longer looked at him with disdain and coldness. After walking past, they all turned back and discussed curiously. "Brother Xiaofu, why are you here?" A clear voice rang out, and a delicate and pretty girl appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. It was Jialo Yueying, the one who saved Du Xiaofu from the dragons. Du Xiaofu smiled at her, and said, "I'm looking around." Jialo Yueying smiled, and her bright eyes moved slightly. She said to Du Xiaofu, "You should want to enter the secret realm to comprehend, right?" Du Xiaofu nodded. Since he still had some time, he planned to spend more time in the golden-winged Great Ping clan. There are many secret realms in the clan. There are roughly 4 secret realms: Heaven, Earth, Profound, and Yellow. Among them, the Yellow realm is only suitable for disciples with low cultivation, the Profound realm is suitable for disciples at the Beast Emperor level, and the Heaven realm can only be entered by those above the Beast realm. Jialo Yueying smiled at Du Xiaofu and said, "You are now a disciple of the clan. With your cultivation and comprehension of the clan's abilities, I'll take you to the Earth realm. It should be beneficial for you. I want to start in the Yellow realm. Is that okay?" Du Xiaofu shook his head. The mystic bones in his body weren't complete. Although the blood of the golden-winged Great Ping clan flowed in his body, he didn't know if this bloodline contained any bloodline power. Even if it did, it would be difficult to fully activate it. To the golden-winged great rocks, the power of bloodline inheritance was very important. Since it was difficult for him to come into contact with it, he could only start from the most basic understanding. Hearing this, Jialo Yueying was slightly stunned. Then, she smiled and sighed in her heart. This monstrous human could even defeat Jialo Jumi. He was indeed special. If it were anyone else, they would have chosen the Earth realm without hesitation. However, with his current cultivation, he chose the most basic Yellow realm. That was a place only the younger generation of the clan could enter. She smiled and nodded at Du Xiaofu. Of course, that's not a problem. With Jialo Yueying leading the way and the token that Jialo Kailing gave him, Du Xiaofu easily entered the so-called Yellow territory. The Yellow realm was the place where the disciples of the golden-winged great rocks first entered to comprehend. At this moment, Du Xiaofu wanted to start from scratch and cultivate the cultivation techniques of the golden-winged great rocks. Stars twinkled in the night sky. The mountainous region was boundless. Giant cities were connected one after another. Under the night sky, it looked like a black ancient heavenly snake winding across the horizon. The mountains overlapped, and the majestic palaces were connected to each other. It was as if a heavenly palace had descended to the mortal world. Richly ornamented and inscriptions flickered. It has been so long. The remnants of the 7-star hall are still alive. Fairy Yu, Purple Sky Lord and the others are still missing. Find them as soon as possible. We are in the light, and they are in the dark. If we don't eliminate them, they will be like a poisonous snake spying on us in the dark. We don't know when they will bite us. The moonlight was like silk, and the starlight was twinkling. An old man in his 70s sat in the center of the hall. His voice was majestic, and his aura seemed to be able to look down on the world. If Du Xiaofu were here at this moment, his eyes would have turned red. This old man was none other than Xinguang Tianzuan of the Divine Light Court. We have already given the order. We are doing our best to find them, but those remnants are too well hidden. However, there has been some news recently. I hope we can find them as soon as possible. A middle-aged man nodded. His eyes were cold, and then he said to Xinguang Tianzuan, there is also Du Xiaofu. He is also a big problem. We don't know where he is now. It is rumored that he has already entered the beast region. Don't worry about that little bastard. Someone will deal with him. I'm afraid he won't be able to return to the middle state. Xinguang Tianzuan's face was gloomy. Recently, in the middle state, Dongli Qi Huang, Wu Ming, Shi Longyang, Ninefold Ling, Shen Yan and the others are like the sun in the sky. Their strength has reached an extraordinary level. How is Xingnan recently? An old man raised his head and asked Xinguang Tianzuan. From his tone, it seemed that his position in the divine light court was not low. However, at this moment, the old man's expression was a little gloomy. The younger generation was very important to a mountain sect. Back then, Qing Xingnan of the Divine Light Court was also one of the top 10 heaven's prides. However, because of the destruction of the Stone Dragon Empire many years ago, Qing Xingnan had almost died. He had been quiet all these years. Even in the Divine Light Court, no one had seen him. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Xingnan is no longer the same as before. He has overcome his inner demons and obtained the ancestors' inheritance. When he appears again, he will definitely shock Kyushu and shine brightly. There is hope for the Divine Light Court to rise again. Xinguang Tianzuan smiled faintly. His eyes flashed with some lightning. He waved his hand slightly and said, "You may all leave." Yes. The experts in the hall stood up and left the hall one by one. Looking at the silhouettes leaving the hall, Xinguang Exalted's eyes flickered. Lightning flashed in his eyes as he muttered to himself, "Where is that item from Tianwu Academy? It must have landed in someone's hands. Why hasn't that person shown himself yet?" Mountains overlapped and huge cities stretched. Starlight flickered and the shadow of the moon danced. In the vast space, light flickered. It was ancient and boundless. Within the space of dazzling light, a woman sat cross-legged quietly. Her body was enveloped in a dazzling radiance that was as dazzling as day. It was as if she wanted to tear the space apart. "Xingnan, how are you now?" An old voice rang out, gently echoing in the space. When one's heart is moved, things will move. When one's heart is calm, things will be still. You will reap what you sow, everything is predestined. The woman spoke. Her voice was clear and crisp, reverberating in the space. "It's good that you have let it go." The old voice slowly dissipated in the space. Then, it gradually disappeared. The mountain walls were steep and the trees were lush. There were a few buildings that were hidden. It was not a spectacular sight, but it was simple and deep. There were winding rivers in the mountains. The rivers on both sides connected the mountains. They were dark green in color. It was afternoon. The sun was about to set and the sunset glow appeared. Sizzle, sizzle. In a small square, the fragrance of meat filled the air. Grease splattered everywhere. A woman was seriously leaning against a large amount of demonic beast meat on a grill. There were many spices beside her. The woman looked to be in her 20s. She had a peerless appearance. She wore tight clothes that outlined her devilish figure. The woman's long and slender legs were seductively curved, revealing her perfect figure. In addition to her beautiful appearance, she was simply captivating. However, the thin eyebrows on the lady's beautiful face, which should have been gentle, were slightly furrowed at this moment. She appeared stubborn and unapproachable. There was not the slightest ripple in her indifferent eyes as she continued to roast the meat in front of her. A figure poked his head out. It was an old man with disheveled hair. His body was sloppy, but his eyes were as deep as the sea. His nose was almost about to smell the grilled meat. His mouth was already salivating. If Du Xiaofu was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that the old man was the one who had been chasing after Fu Yibai outside the Divine Lightning Mountain range. The woman with a devilish figure and a peerless appearance was the man's wife, Ouyang Shuang. However, at this moment, Ouyang Shuang completely ignored the sloppy old man. It was as if she did not see the old man at all. Her appearance was unapproachable. "My good disciple, can you leave a piece of grilled meat for me? Just a small piece will do." The old man's face was thick. At this moment, he was unable to resist the fragrance of the grilled meat. "I've said it before. In the future, you are you, and I am me. In any case, you don't treat me as your disciple, and I don't treat you as my master." Ouyang Shuang spoke with an indifferent expression. She was still unapproachable. He. The old man smiled embarrassedly when he heard this. He said, "My good disciple, I've told you that the great calamity of the world is coming. It's not safe for you to go out with your current strength. When you break through to the martial domain realm, I'll definitely let you leave the mountain." "How difficult is it to break through to the martial domain realm? Furthermore, I'm still far from it. When will I be able to leave the mountain?" Ouyang Shuang's red lips slightly pouted. Her red lips were tender, but there was no smile that could overturn a country. Not much emotion could be seen on her beautiful face. She did not have any intention of paying attention to the old man. "How many years have you been on the mountain? Girl, your talent can only be considered passable. However, your willpower and perseverance cannot be compared to others. These are also things that cannot be improved. I've already changed your talent quite a bit over the years. Now, you're only stronger than those ordinary human sovereigns outside. As long as you properly cultivate for a few more years, it won't be difficult for you to break through to the martial domain realm. In the future, you will know that the martial domain realm is nothing. The great calamity is coming, so you have to work hard to increase your strength. Only then will you be able to protect yourself." The sloppy old man said seriously. As his voice sounded, he waved his hand and a dazzling light immediately appeared in his palm. Buzz! The sound of wind and thunder resounded. A vague aura surged. The surrounding space suddenly trembled and froze. An extraordinary and dazzling spiritual sword suddenly appeared in the sloppy old man's hand. It emitted an endless pressure. This sword is called Fu Ling. It has an extraordinary origin and is a rare treasure in this world. Back then, this sword had even killed the demon emperor. Originally, I planned to give it to you after you leave the mountain. However, it seems that it's fine to give it to you first. After it recognizes you as its master, it should give you some additional benefits." The sloppy old man handed the spiritual sword over to Ouyang Shuang as his voice sounded. "Thank you, master." Ouyang Shuang's originally unapproachable expression instantly turned into a smile that was as beautiful as a flower. "I'm a little stuck before changing the map. I've finished updating today. Brothers and sisters, don't wait for me today." Chapter 1361. However, as Ouyang Shuang received the sword, the spiritual sword resounded with the sound of wind and thunder. Resplendent runes erupted and immediately broke free from Ouyang Shuang's hand. Like a dragon soaring tens of thousands of miles, it immediately shot into the sky. The sandfly has a spirit. If you want it to recognize you as its master, it will depend on whether you can subdue it. The sloppy old man smiled and stood indifferently. "Humph, I don't believe it." Ouyang Shuang bit her red lips. With a tap of her foot, her devilish figure shot into the sky and chased after the spiritual sword. Her voice rang out, "Master, that barbecued meat was meant for you to eat. You don't have to leave it for me. This girl, looks like I didn't dote on her for nothing." The sloppy old man smiled with satisfaction. He immediately turned around and picked up the piping hot barbecued meat as if he had not eaten for 3,000 years. He wolfed it down, as if he was afraid that someone would come and snatch it away. In the vast and mysterious space, golden light flickered all around. Mysterious runes rippled, as if there were many golden-winged rocks soaring in the sky. In the center of the space, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged. Golden light shot into the sky from his body like a rising sun. At this moment, in this mysterious space, with Du Xiaofu as the center, many golden mysterious runes surged out. A domineering aura burst out from the golden talisman engravings around Du Xiaofu's body, causing Du Xiaofu's body to be wrapped in circles of golden light, causing the surroundings to shine with golden light. Within the golden light, countless mysterious runes flickered, carrying the terrifying aura of the golden-winged rocks, enough to make all beasts tremble. When the densely packed mysterious runes formed the golden-winged rocks behind Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, the terrifying aura became even more domineering, causing the space to tremble. In the next instant, the illusory figure seemed to be injected with life. It wanted to spread its wings and soar into the sky like a living creature. Du Xiaofu was immersed in a strange state. In this state, Du Xiaofu was like a fish swimming in the sea or an eagle spreading its wings in the sky. It was indescribably comfortable. As the golden light rippled, many of the golden talisman patterns on the surface of Du Xiaofu's body began to merge into his flesh and blood, into his bones, and into the half of the golden-winged rock bone in his chest in a rather strange way. These mysterious talisman runes began to constantly change within Du Xiaofu's body, as if they were taking root and sprouting. They were like seeds sown in the soil, growing vigorously. At this moment, no one could see that the two ends of the golden-winged great rock mystic bone in Du Xiaofu's chest were beginning to be inscribed with talisman mystic patterns. Mysterious runes and mysterious runes. Runes and the golden-winged rock's wings. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's entire body was transforming. This transformation did not come from the surface of his body, but from the inside out. It gave him an indescribable feeling. This feeling spread throughout Du Xiaofu's body. In a daze, Du Xiaofu could feel the golden mysterious runes in his bones and even in his blood. His limbs, flesh, and meridians were all resonating with the mysterious runes. Under this feeling, Du Xiaofu felt as if he had become a real golden-winged rocks. He did not know when it started, but Du Xiaofu's body began to resonate. It came from every bone. Those golden talisman patterns were engraved in his body, taking root and sprouting. Du Xiaofu also learned a lot of information, all of which were related to the golden-winged great rocks. It was as if he had received some kind of inheritance. Screech, the golden-winged rocks behind him screeched and changed. Du Xiaofu's body and the golden-winged rocks behind him were connected, as if the two had already merged into one. The golden-winged rocks were his spirit, and the body that was sitting cross-legged was his form. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was becoming one from the inside out, and from the outside in, as if he was about to transform into a real rocks. Walala, under this change, the aura on Du Xiaofu's body became more and more domineering and awe-inspiring. The golden-winged rock behind him flapped its wings and circled around, changing unpredictably. A terrifying pressure swept out, causing the entire space to rumble and tremble. Time slowly passed. In this state, Du Xiaofu also seemed to have lost the concept of time. The continuous mountain range was enshrouded in mist. This was a paradise. The mountain peaks were towering and shrouded in mist. There were also extraordinary spiritual herbs everywhere. The energy of heaven and earth was rich and overflowing. Early in the morning, the mountain stream was filled with mist. It was hazy and ethereal like smoke, like a gorgeous curtain. Looking from afar, the distant sky, distant water, and distant mountains formed a long and moving picture scroll. The mountain peaks were majestic and vast, revealing a dignified and magnificent scene. On a mountain peak, surrounded by lush green, in front of an exquisite small courtyard, a woman sat cross-legged. Her body was enveloped in a dazzling white light, like a divine light, and her aura was ancient. Walala, in the distant mountain, a green light suddenly spread out. In just a short period of time, a green light spread out and enveloped the sky. Only when looking closely did one realize that the green light was a cluster of green flames. The flames were crystal clear and rose with a red color. They were huge and filled half of the sky. Whoosh whoosh. When the green flames spread out, the woman sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak opened her eyes. A bright light surged out of her eyes. The aura around the woman's body slowly converged. She slowly stood up. She looked to be in her 20s. Her brows seemed to be frowning, like a wisp of smoke. She was graceful and beautiful, slender and elegant. What a stunning woman, stunning the world. The stunning woman looked at the sky. Her eyes were clear and pure, so clean that it made people feel as if they were not of this world. She smiled happily and said, "Little Ching Ching, have you broken through to the primordial origin beast supreme?" Gee! Within the crystal clear green flames, a loud and clear cry suddenly spread out. The green flames rose and spread out in the sky like a green sun. As the green flames rose, the flames also faded, revealing a huge figure that was close to 1,000 feet tall. It was a giant green bird soaring in the sky. Its gorgeous tail feathers were filled with green runes. It was moving and moving. When it spread its wings, it was agile and majestic, showing the aura of a supreme beast. It was a green Luan, the bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Among the 5 Phoenix clans, the 5 colored red ones were the main Phoenix, the yellow ones were the Swanni, the purple ones were the Swanni, the green ones were the Luan, and the white ones were the Swan. The green Luan was one of the Phoenix clans. Roar! Following the appearance of this green Luan, demonic beasts in the distant mountains roared endlessly. "Sister Xingyu, I have finally broken through." A happy voice spread out. Then, the green Luan's huge body flickered and turned into a young girl in green. The young girl looked to be about 14 or 15 years old. Her clear and bright eyes carried a faint green glow. She had curved eyebrows and long eyelashes. Her fair and flawless skin revealed a faint pink color. Her thin lips were as delicate and tender as rose petals. Chi, the young girl in green landed beside the woman and smiled happily. The perfect curve of her mouth revealed a sense of pride. Her aura was mysterious and supreme. "Master said that your talent in the Phoenix clan is considered top-notch. You have also obtained the inheritance of the ancient green Luan from Master. Being a primordial origin beast supreme is not enough." The woman smiled. Her eyebrows were like distant mountains and her lips were red. "I have already worked very hard." The young girl curled her lips and pulled the woman's arm. She said with some envy, "I can't compare to you, Sister Xingyu. You have a human body, but your cultivation speed is so terrifying. Is exquisite pure heart really so powerful? If only I had exquisite pure heart." "You silly girl. You have the body of a green Luan. You won't have exquisite pure heart." The woman smiled and looked into the distance. Her eyes were clear and pure. She curled her lips and murmured, "I'm not enough either. Even a 9-star spiritual talisman master is still one step away. I will work hard and become a true expert as soon as possible. When I appear in front of Brother Xiaofu, I won't need his attention anymore. If anyone dares to bully Brother Xiaofu in the future, I won't be courteous to them. There's still me." The young girl smiled. She seemed to have thought of something and said, "I wonder how they are now. It won't be long before I can visit them and Aunt Yoruo." The woman said softly with a smile on her beautiful face. Chapter 1362. Who? At some point, in the mysterious space, the domineering aura behind Du Xiaofu finally slowed down. The golden light slowly receded, and the shadow of the golden-winged great rock behind him also turned into golden runes, miraculously entering his body. Chi, his tightly shut eyes opened, and 2 beams of golden light shot out from his eyes like lightning, shaking the space. A vigorous aura swept out from his body like a storm, spreading in all directions. A moment later, his eyes slowly became deep and clear. "I've gained a lot. Feeling everything in his body, Du Xiaofu also had a slight smile on his face. It was as if he had once again undergone a baptism, but this time the baptism did not come from cleansing his bones, marrow, and flesh. Instead, it came from the inside out, and he had comprehended many of the golden-winged Great Rock clan's secret techniques. This feeling was like a person who had been missing his left and right arms had suddenly recovered. Du Xiaofu was the same at this moment. During this period of time, he had been completely within the Yellow Realm, comprehending the most basic secret techniques of the golden-winged Great Rock clan, but his gains were the greatest. However, Du Xiaofu felt that he still needed some time to fully comprehend the secret techniques of the golden-winged Great Rock clan and truly complete the secret bones. However, he had already gained a lot during this period of time. He was cultivating the secret techniques of the golden-winged Great Rock clan. If his secret bones were completed, he was afraid that he would encounter the greatest resistance in his future path of cultivation. So refining the divine body actually requires spiritual thunder to refine the body. From the information he had gained from the golden-winged Great Rock this time, Du Xiaofu also learned about the third level of the body refinement technique that he had never known before. It turned out that the third level of the body refinement technique actually required spiritual thunder to refine the body. And it was not something that could be done by ordinary spiritual thunder, but by the most domineering spiritual thunder in the world. To refine the divine body, one had to use the most domineering spiritual thunder to refine the body, absorb the most domineering spiritual thunder energy, and use the body refinement technique to finally refine the divine body to achieve the golden rock divine body. There is a chance to refine the divine body in the secret space. Could it be that the golden-winged Great Rock clan has spiritual thunder? Du Xiaofu's gaze flickered. Feeling the vigorous Xian Qi in his body and the abundant primordial spirit energy in his Naiwan palace, Du Xiaofu knew that although his cultivation did not increase significantly over the past few days, the benefits he received were much greater than the increase in his strength. Oh no, it's about time. Did we miss it? As if suddenly remembering something, Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and disappeared from the space. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared, it was in front of an ancient cultivation stone door. At this moment, in front of the ancient stone door, there was a 27 or 28-year-old woman. She was absolutely beautiful and had a valiant aura. She wore a tight orange shirt that outlined her graceful figure so well that it could cause one to have a nosebleed. Do you know that today is the day to enter the secret plane? The woman's long and slender legs were perfectly straight. Her originally alluring eyes were now glaring fiercely at Du Xiaofu. Today. Fortunately, I'm not late. Du Xiaofu took a deep breath and heaved a sigh of relief. Seeing Du Xiaofu's relaxed expression, Jialo Kaling was stunned. Her eyes were burning with anger. Now, everyone was waiting for this guy alone, so she personally came to find him. She stomped her foot and flew into the air, saying, "If you have the ability, don't follow me. I'll tell the elders that you forfeited and don't want to enter the secret plane." Du Xiaofu looked at the beautiful figure that turned and left. There was a faint fragrance left on the figure's body. He was slightly stunned. Then, a faint smile appeared on his face. Golden light surged under his feet. He immediately chased after her and said, "I didn't forfeit. It would be strange if I didn't go." Today, the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan was also quite lively. Today was the day when the younger generation entered the secret plane to obtain benefits. Although the younger generation of the clan knew that the benefit of the secret plane was that they could have the opportunity to refine their divine body, the premise was that they had to reach the level of refining their divine body. Now, in the entire golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan, only Jialo Jueyu and Jialo Juekong could reach the level of refining their divine body. Jialo Juekong could only be considered half of it. If one's physical body couldn't reach the level of refining their divine body, it was naturally impossible to successfully refine their divine ability in the secret plane. However, all the disciples knew that even if they couldn't refine their divine ability, it would be of great benefit to their cultivation in the future. This opportunity was hard to come by. It only came once every 300 years. If they missed it, there wouldn't be another chance. In the mountains, there was an ancient square. There was a unique aura in the air. At this moment, many young people were waiting in the square and whispering. There were also many elders and protectors. The leaders were the fifth elder, Jialo Yun, and the fourth elder, Jialo Yi. In the center of the square, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others were there. Jialo Jueyu was among them. However, at this moment, Jialo Jueyu's face was still rather pale. He had been severely injured by Du Xiaofu for so long. Even with the clan's resources, he hadn't recovered much. Although he didn't participate in the clan's grand competition, Jialo Jueyu was still qualified to enter the secret plane today. However, since he didn't participate in the clan's grand competition, he couldn't go deep into the secret plane. He could only reap the benefits outside. Little Xingxing's figure was also among them. That small figure and young face seemed harmless. However, none of the surrounding golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan's youths dared to treat her as a harmless little girl. She was a terrifying existence that could even defeat Jialo Juekong and break through the realm of Nirvana Beast Venerable. Even Jialo Jueyu had personally said that if he wanted to determine the victor between him and that little girl, it would require a battle of life and death. Facing such a terrifying little demon king, the disciples of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan, who had the blood of arrogance flowing in their bodies, were also subdued. Why isn't that guy here yet? I heard that guy went to the Yellow Realm to comprehend. Could he have missed the time? Time passed slowly, and there was a small commotion in the square. Everyone was waiting. At this moment, everyone knew that only that abnormal monster hadn't arrived yet. They were all waiting for him alone. However, in the small commotion, no one dared to be dissatisfied with Du Xiaofu. After all, it was different from the past. The last battle in the grand competition had already shocked all the younger generation. A guy who was even more terrifying than Jialo Jueyu was now a legitimate disciple of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan. For the younger generation of the other clans, everything was different. Why isn't father here yet? Could it be that he missed it? As time passed, even little Xingxing was a little nervous. Whoosh whoosh. When the sun was high in the sky, two whooshing sounds came from the distant sky of the square. Everyone raised their heads and looked over. Two golden rainbows swept across the sky and landed in front of everyone in the square in an instant. The golden rainbows disappeared, and two figures were revealed. It was Du Xiaofu and Jialo Kailing. Looking at the purple-robed figure, the eyes of the younger generation of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan began to be mixed with an indescribable passion. Jialo Jueyu looked at the figure, and his gaze was even more complicated. Fourth brother, don't provoke him in the future. You won't be his opponent. It might be a good thing for you in the future if you suffer a little. He is now a member of our clan. Jialo Jueyu, who was beside Jialo Jueyu, said softly. Hearing Jialo Jueyu's words, Jialo Jueyu lowered his head slightly. His gaze twitched, and he didn't say anything else. Father. Seeing that Du Xiaofu had landed, little Xingxing immediately rushed over happily. He raised his head and puffed out his chest, looking proud and happy. Du Xiaofu smiled and landed little Xingxing in his hand. His gaze swept across the square and looked at the younger generation of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan. He looked at Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueyu, and the others. He couldn't help but feel a little emotional and shocked. He didn't know when the younger generation of the Du family and the world society would reach such a level. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu raised his gaze. A figure flashed in front of him. Jialo Jueyu walked over, and beside him was Jialo Juekong and Jialo Jueyu. Today, yesterday, and tomorrow, Xiaoyu might as well take 3 days off. He will update once a day and maintain a constant stream of updates. These few days, I really can't write anything. Brothers, please understand how powerful Caven is. I have no choice but to do so. Although I am taking a day off, Xiaoyu will still update when the time comes. Once again, I apologize to everyone. Chapter 1363. Seeing this scene, many people in the surroundings were surprised. Some people began to step back, while others revealed puzzled expressions, as if they were pondering something. Gradually, there were also people who automatically stood behind Jialo Jueyu and Jialo Juekong. Jialo Kaling raised her eyebrows as she watched Jialo Jueyu, and the others walk over. Their alluring figures gradually approached Du Xiaofu's side. The nearby elders also saw this scene and began to look over. Under the complicated gazes of many people, Jialo Jueyu and the others stopped when they were a few dozen steps away from Du Xiaofu. The auras of the people behind him began to surge, as if they were waiting for a battle. Du Xiaofu held little Xingxing's hand as he watched Jialo Jueyu and the others walk over. His expression did not change much, and he still maintained a faint smile. Looking at Du Xiaofu, under the gazes of many people, Jialo Jueyu stared at Du Xiaofu, who was smiling faintly. After a while, a faint smile appeared on his handsome face as he said in a slightly low voice, "You are very strong. I underestimated you back then." Seeing Jialo Jueyu's smiling face, the surrounding people let out a sigh of relief. Some of the young men and women behind Jialo Jueyu, who had been waiting for a battle, were stunned. Then, they all secretly let out a sigh of relief. At this moment, everyone knew that Jialo Jueyu was referring to the matter of the large competition. That day, Jialo Jueyu did not spar with the little girl and directly pointed at Du Xiaofu, wanting to fight. At the beginning, Du Xiaofu did not seem to have any intention of fighting. Everyone thought that after the human Du Xiaofu encountered the second commander, Jialo Jueyu, he did not dare to step forward. Later, everyone found out that Du Xiaofu could even defeat Jialo Jueju, so why would he be afraid of Jialo Jueju? It was just that at the beginning, for some unknown reason, he really didn't want to fight. Du Xiaofu was still smiling faintly. The corners of his mouth curled up as he looked at Jialo Jueyu and said, "It's just luck. You are also very strong. There is no such thing as luck in a fight. If you and I were to fight to the death, the one who would lose his life would most likely be me." Jialo Jueyu stared at Du Xiaofu. His sharp eyes flashed with pride and determination as he spoke in a low voice, "But from now onwards, you will be my opponent. Maybe it won't be long before I defeat you. Just wait for my challenge." Du Xiaofu shrugged nonchalantly. "I'll be waiting for you, as long as I'm free," he said indifferently. "Well, the time has come. Since some people may not be too clear about what is in the secret plane, I will briefly explain. This is a secret of the Golden-Winged Rock clan and must not be divulged." Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu's voice echoed in the simple square. When everyone heard this, they immediately turned around and looked at Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu. Du Xiaofu smiled faintly. He naturally understood that Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu was talking about him and little Xingxing. Most likely, only he and little Xingxing didn't know about everything that happened in the secret plane. Under everyone's gaze, Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu's gaze fell on Du Xiaofu and little Xingxing. He continued, "The Golden-Winged Rock clan's body refinement method is to temper the divine feathers, cleanse the marrow, and refine the divine body. Spirit herbs and heavenly treasures are used to temper the divine feathers, the blood essence of the demonic beasts on the heavenly beast list is used to cleanse the marrow and bones, and the third level of refining the divine body requires the most tyrannical spirit thunder in the world to refine the body and reach the body of a true rock." Pausing, Fifth Elder looked at everyone in the square with a faint golden light in his eyes. The most tyrannical spirit thunder to refine the body. It seems that the Golden-Winged Rock clan does indeed have spirit thunder, and it is the most tyrannical spirit thunder. Du Xiaofu murmured. In his heart, he felt that the golden-winged rock clan definitely had spirit thunder. Among you, after obtaining spirit thunder to refine the body, you may not be able to refine the divine body, but you will still obtain great benefits. If you succeed in refining the divine body, you will obtain endless benefits. The body of a true rock is enough to move unhindered in the universe. The fifth elder Jialo Yuantu continued. His eyes were blazing with passion. It was a pity that he didn't succeed in cultivating the true rock body in the past. The chances of him succeeding in cultivating the true rock body in the future were getting smaller and smaller. Fifth elder, do you have spirit thunder in your clan? Little Xingxing asked fifth elder Jialo Yuantu. His black eyes turned slightly, his temperament strange and noble. Jialo Yuantu looked at little Xingxing and curled his lips. His expression was quite good as he said, the spirit thunder in my golden-winged rock clan is the second-generation golden crow heaven-burning thunder. It can burn all things and destroy all living beings. Fifth elder Jialo Yuantu's voice was filled with pride as he said this. The golden crow heaven-burning thunder was one of the top spirit thunders in the world. It was very tyrannical. Even among the most violent spirit thunders in the world, the golden crow heaven-burning thunder was enough to rank in the top 3. Golden crow heaven-burning thunder. Du Xiaofu's eyes slightly raised. The golden-winged rock clan indeed had a spirit thunder. Alright, let's not talk nonsense. The world is almost finished. After you enter, the top 10 disciples of the large competition will enter 10 cultivation spaces according to their ranking. The first-ranked disciple will enter the first cultivation space. The rest of the disciples will cultivate in the outer area for 3 months. As his voice faded, 10 rays of golden light shot out from fifth elder Jialo Yuantu's hand. They directly landed in front of Du Xiaofu, little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong and the others. Du Xiaofu reached out and grabbed the golden object. It was a palm-sized badge with faint golden lightning arcs on it. The number 1 was engraved on it. When the faint golden lightning arcs landed in Du Xiaofu's hand, a tyrannical aura surged, bringing with it destruction. It affected Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein and spiritual thunder in his mind. Is this the golden crow heaven-burning thunder? Du Xiaofu was surprised. He then looked at little Xingxing and saw the number 3 on the golden badge in little Xingxing's hand. In Jialo Jueyu's hand was the number 2, Jialo Juekong's hand was the number 4, and Jialo Jueyo's hand was empty. Prepare to enter the secret area. Fourth elder Jialo Yi said. At the same time, as he and fifth elder Jialo Yuantu condensed their hand seals, a spatial ripple began to fluctuate among the peaks in front of them. It emitted a faint golden light and faint electric arcs that sizzled in the air from time to time. Follow me in. Fourth elder Jialo Yi said again and rushed into the spatial ripple with fifth elder Jialo Yuantu. Whoosh whoosh, all the younger disciples raised their eyebrows in excitement and rushed into the spatial ripple. Chapter 1364. Translator, H2DH2 Mr. Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong and the rest followed behind the fourth and fifth elders. Inside the spatial ripples was a wormhole-like tunnel, and the light had also dimmed significantly. Inside the tunnel, spatial ripples rippled, and golden lightning flashed, becoming more and more intense and dazzling. Du Xiaofu's lightning martial vein and Yuan spirit, which contained 2 spiritual lightning soul seeds, were also affected by something at this moment. In this tunnel, everyone followed the fourth and fifth elders forward, all of them filled with excitement. Swoosh swoosh, along the way, only the sound of rushing wind resounded in the tunnel, and the rest was completely silent. After a full 15 minutes, behind the fourth and fifth elders, Jialo Yi and Jialo Yuantu, a space that gradually became more and more spacious appeared in everyone's vision. In the space, there was a 10,000-foot large behemoth standing tall. That behemoth was in the shape of a golden-winged rock, shining with golden light and flickering with golden lightning. A violent and destructive aura filled the space, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. That is, Du Xiaofu's eyes lifted slightly. Only now did he see clearly that the 10,000-foot large golden-winged rock was actually a huge hall. However, the shape of this hall was exactly the same as the golden-winged rock, and it was very strange. Qi, the fourth and fifth elders, Jialo Yi and Jialo Yuantu, stopped in front of the hall. Everyone followed behind and landed, completely silent. Their gazes were all fixed on the golden-winged rock-shaped hall. The golden lightning filled the air, faintly emitting a violent and destructive aura, causing everyone's hearts to feel heavy and their breathing to become heavy. What a strange place. Little Xingxing pulled Du Xiaofu's hand a little harder. At this moment, the golden lightning that filled the hall also made her feel an inexplicable pressure. What a powerful seal. Could the golden crow heaven-burning lightning be in this hall? At this moment, Du Xiaofu's heart skipped a beat as he faced the enormous golden hall that resembled a golden-winged great rock. Naturally, the seal placed in the hall could not escape the eyes of Du Xiaofu, who was a talisman master. That was definitely not an ordinary seal. Du Xiaofu could almost confirm from the lightning martial vein and primordial spirit in his body that the golden crow burning sky thunder of the golden-winged great rock clan should be in the huge, strangely shaped hall before him. At this moment, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo, and the others were standing in front of the hall. Their gazes were also fixed on the huge hall. From the expressions on their faces, it should be their first time entering this place. The faces of the younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks were tense as they suppressed the excitement and anticipation in their hearts. Under the violent and destructive aura that seeped out of the space, their breathing became heavy and their eyes gradually turned crimson red. Elders, is this the place where our clan's golden crow heaven-burning lightning is located? Jialo Jueo could not help but ask in surprise. That's right. The golden crow burning sky thunder is below. Fourth elder Jialo Yi looked at the people behind him and said, below this great hall, there are 10 levels. The top 10 of the competition will enter the lower levels in order. The first to enter will enter the lowest level. After you enter the great hall, crush the badges in your hands and you will be brought in. The rest of the disciples can cultivate in the great hall. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Quite a few disciples looked at the top 10 people in the large competition with envy. The further down they went, the closer they were to the golden crow burning heaven's lightning. So, the energy of the golden crow burning heaven's lightning they would be able to obtain would be more. Many people looked at Du Xiaofu with envy and a complicated expression. No one would have thought that the first place of this grand competition would fall to a human. However, that human had become a member of the golden-winged great rock clan and had indeed taken first place. Even Jialo Jueyu had lost to him. So the golden crow heaven-burning lightning was actually suppressed under this palace hall. Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes. It seemed that this golden-winged great rock-shaped hall was only used to suppress the golden crow burning sky thunder. There shouldn't be any problems, right? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's heart trembled slightly. He secretly smacked his lips. Back when he was at the Hehuan school, he had accidentally barged into the restricted space where the earth-shattering sky thunder was suppressed. In the end, he encountered the earth-shattering sky thunder and planned to escape. Even the 2 domain lords were trapped inside. If there was a problem with the golden crow burning sky thunder, the consequences would be bad. It was not hard to imagine that the golden crow burning sky thunder that could refine the body of the golden-winged great rocks would definitely not be of a low level. Looking at the seals and restrictions above the hall, Du Xiaofu judged that it was unlikely that the golden crow burning sky thunder had been subdued by the golden-winged great rocks. What am I thinking? Du Xiaofu laughed bitterly in his heart. This was the golden-winged great rocks. No matter how strong the golden crow burning sky thunder was, it wouldn't be able to cause much of a stir in the golden-winged great rocks. All of you, go in. After a while, we will open the seals and restrictions inside. At that time, the golden crow burning sky thunder will fill every corner of this hall. In 3 months, if you are unable to resist the power of the golden crow burning sky thunder, you will immediately come out. Do not forcefully resist. Forcefully resisting will only bring harm and no benefits. I hope that all of you will be able to obtain benefits. The fifth elder, Jialo Yuan-tu, pointed at the hall. In front of the hall, a huge golden door had been opened at some point in time. Inside the door, a golden light rippled, dazzling and dazzling. Yes, hearing this, everyone nodded in response. Golden light flashed under their feet, and one figure after another rushed into the hall. Whoosh whoosh, immediately, the sound of wind breaking resounded, and one figure after another rushed into the hall. The hall was vast, giving people a feeling of being in a different world. It was as if the space inside was endless, as if a peerless expert had compressed the space inside the hall. It was shocking. The vast hall was filled with golden arcs of lightning. That violent and destructive aura made it impossible for ordinary cultivators to approach this place. Once they approached, they would be blown to pieces by the violent and destructive aura in this space. What a big deal! As expected of the golden-winged great rocks. Du Xiaofu was shocked. Although he was far from being able to reach this level, it was not difficult to know that this was not something a faction could do. Inside the hall, everyone entered. Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others looked at each other and nodded slightly. They each held the golden badges in their hands. Be careful. Du Xiaofu warned Little Xingxing. Don't worry, father. I will be careful. You too. Little Xingxing smiled. The smile on his childish face was pure. Although his eyes were demonic, they were clear. Chi, as the golden badges in the hands of the 10 people were crushed, golden light burst out, and the space fluctuated violently. As the 10 dazzling golden lights flashed, Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, and the others disappeared from the hall. The remaining people in the hall looked at the 10 figures with yearning and regret. They knew that the benefits that the 10 people received were naturally much more than them. In the main hall, the person who felt the most helpless and complicated was none other than Jialo Juyu. With his cultivation and strength, he had always thought that even if Great Commander Jialo Kaling did not participate in this competition, he would still be able to enter the top 3 no matter what. But Jialo Jueyu had never thought that he could only get the benefits of the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder in the hall. When Du Xiaofu's figure appeared once again, he had arrived in a quiet and vast space. Golden light flickered and golden lightning arcs rippled. The invisible wild and overbearing aura of destruction was more than 10 times denser than the one in the large hall earlier. The Golden Crow sky-burning thunder seems to be nearby. Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly narrowed. The thunder martial vein in his body and Yuan's spirit sensed that the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder seemed to be nearby, but he could not detect its existence in detail. Outside the hall in the shape of a giant golden rock, everyone entered the hall. The door of the hall flickered with golden light and slowly closed. Outside the hall, only the 5th elder, Jialo Yuan-tu, and the 4th elder, Jialo Yi, were left. They looked at the huge hall with serious expressions. Let's start. This time, only Jialo Jueyu has the highest chance of success. He has the true bone. If he can achieve the true rock body, it will be like adding wings to a tiger. It will not be a problem to suppress the 9 underworld demonic thunder in Jialo Jueyu's body again. After a while, the 5th elder, Jialo Yuan-tu, looked at the hall and said softly. How powerful would the true rock body be? Du Xiaofu has also reached the stage of refining the divine body. The human body should be easier to cultivate than the body of my clan. The level of refining the divine body is even higher than Jialo Jueyu's. Maybe he has a higher chance of success than Jialo Jueyu, the 4th elder, Jialo Yi, said softly to the 5th elder, Jialo Yuan-tu. If the human body is refined, I don't know how powerful it will be. It has never been seen before. The fifth elder, Jialo Yuan-tu, frowned. Fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu frowned slightly and said, however, Du Xiaofu is a human after all. It is unlikely that he will succeed in refining his divine body. To be able to possess two spiritual thunders, possess the secret bone of our race, practice the cultivation method of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan, and defeat Jialo Jumi as a human. All these incredible things have happened to him. What else can't happen? Fourth elder Jialo Yi smiled faintly as he gazed at the enormous hall before him. He softly muttered, to be honest, I do hope that such a monstrous genius is truly a true disciple of our great golden-winged Peng clan. That would be great. Chapter 1365. Fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu didn't say anything. From his expression, it was clear that he agreed with fourth elder Jialo Ye's words. After a moment of silence, fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu seemed to be worried about something. He said to fourth elder Jialo Yi, recently, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning seems to have been strangely quiet. There shouldn't be any problems, right? This restriction was set up by our clan's ancestors. Ever since that thing reached the Yao domain realm, the sealing restriction has already cut off the sunlight, making it unable to advance any further. Moreover, this sealing restriction isn't something that monster can break through, fourth elder Jialo Yi said. Fourth elder Jialo Yi said. As for fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu's worries, he had more faith in the clan's seals. Even an initial domain-level golden crow heaven-burning lightning would definitely be unable to break through the sealing restriction. The golden crow heaven-burning lightning is after all the second generation, not the first. It received the favor of our ancestors and promised to help our clan for 10,000 years. 4,000 years ago, the first Earth's golden crow burning heaven's lightning had reached the age of 10,000 years. It used its power to leave behind a lightning soul and nurtured the second generation of golden crow burning heaven's lightning. It could be considered as continuing to repay the kindness of my clan's ancestors. However, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning's nature is tyrannical and destructive. It has always wanted to break free, but in these 100 years, it has been quiet and silent. This is really somewhat abnormal. Fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu murmured softly. He looked at the huge golden rock-shaped hall in front of him, then smiled bitterly. However, even if that monster wants to break free, it has already lost the opportunity to devour sunlight. Its strength can no longer advance any further. In addition to the sealing restriction set up by the clan's ancestors, it won't be able to make any big waves. Then let's begin. Fourth elder Jialo Yi nodded and said to fifth elder Jialo Yuan-tu. The two elders then slowly took a few steps forward. At the same time, they stretched out their hands and formed hand seals with lightning speed. A golden light swept out from the two hand seals and finally strangely gathered to form the shadow of a golden-winged rock, flying toward the main hall. In the sky above the square, the overflowing golden arcs of lightning suddenly began to fluctuate, as if something had been activated. A tyrannical and destructive aura began to grow thicker and thicker. Rumble, at the same time, in the 10 mysterious and vast spaces below the main hall, golden electric arcs rippled. Gradually, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Golden light flashed as if there were golden thunderclouds beginning to occupy the space above, bringing with them waves of destructive and violent energy ripples as they spread out. It's the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. In the first level, Du Xiaofu raised his eyes and his heart suddenly trembled. The golden thundercloud was accompanied by surging golden lightning. The vast and boundless destructive and wild aura was sufficient to cause an ordinary Zune-level cultivator to be unable to stop. It was likely that only the golden crow sky incinerating lightning could do so. Chi-la-la, within a couple of breaths, the overflowing golden lightning arcs gathered into countless golden thunderbolts amidst a rumbling thunder. They rushed towards Du Xiaofu from all directions. Space seemed to collapse inch by inch wherever they passed. Refine the divine body. Du Xiaofu shouted in his heart. He immediately activated the cultivation method of the Golden-Winged Rock clan and began to refine his body. He used the Golden Crow Sky Incinerating Lightning to refine his divine body. At this moment, Du Xiaofu did not dare to be careless. If he succeeded in refining his divine body with the Golden Crow Sky Incinerating Lightning, there was no need to mention the benefits in the future. However, if he failed, the consequences would be worrying. At the very least, his physical body would be greatly damaged. At the very least, his physical body would be completely destroyed, and even his divine soul would be destroyed. Moreover, even if the pain of using the Golden Crow Sky Incinerating Lightning to refine his physical body was definitely something that ordinary people would not be able to endure. Chi la la, the Golden Crow Sky Incinerating Lightning fell and surged into Du Xiaofu's body. Du Xiaofu's body, which was sitting cross-legged, was immediately filled with golden electric arcs. The tyrannical and destructive power caused Du Xiaofu's body to tremble. He activated the Golden-Winged Rock clan's cultivation method and directly absorbed the Golden Crow Sky Incinerating Lightning into his body. In that instant, Du Xiaofu's eyes surged with golden arcs of lightning, and all the pores on his body were overflowing with golden arcs of lightning. The power of thunder wreaked havoc in Du Xiaofu's body. His tendons, muscles, limbs, organs, meridians, acupoints, and not a single part of his body was spared. Under this kind of enormous tyrannical and destructive impact, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but let out a miserable cry. The violent and destructive power of the golden lightning seemed to want to destroy and distort all of Du Xiaofu's internal organs, tendons, muscles, meridians, and acupoints. In an instant, it rushed in all directions within his body, even to the point of attacking the Naiwan Palace in his mind. However, this was only for a moment. A mysterious power automatically formed in Du Xiaofu's body. It gushed out from his limbs, tendons, muscles, meridians, acupoints, and internal organs. It directly resisted the power of the Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder, and could even vaguely devour the power of the Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder. This power came from the Thunder Martial Vein and Immortal Xian body in Du Xiaofu's body. Du Xiaofu's body had the Thunder Martial Vein, the Supreme Thunder Martial Vein, and his body had been forged into an immortal Xian body by the purple gold profound lightning in the purple thunder profound cauldron. It was too difficult for the power of thunder to hurt Du Xiaofu. It could be said that Du Xiaofu's body had developed a strange and mysterious resistance to the power of thunder. Just now, Du Xiaofu's miserable cry was because of the sudden fall of the vast Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder. His body also had a buffering process. Then, the resistance of his body gushed out and could directly resist the power of thunder and even absorb it for his own use, just like how the Thunder Martial Vein could absorb the power of thunder and lightning. When Du Xiaofu discovered this phenomenon, he was overjoyed. The terrifying Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder was probably enough to destroy a Hunyuan Beast Venerable Expert, but when it fell on Du Xiaofu's body, it didn't cause much pain. Du Xiaofu's abnormal body could easily resist it. Although he was overjoyed, Du Xiaofu didn't relax. He activated the cultivation method of the Golden-Winged Great Rock Clan and began to refine his divine body with the Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder. This time, Du Xiaofu had obtained the method to refine the divine body. At this moment, he also had the Golden Crow Burning Sky Lightning. Du Xiaofu didn't want to miss such an opportunity. Once he was able to successfully refine the divine body, it would undoubtedly be equivalent to a huge increase in his strength. At this moment, Du Xiaofu could easily refine his divine body with the Golden Crow Sky Burning Thunder, but it was different for the others. What Du Xiaofu didn't know was that Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others were all suffering from inhuman pain. Golden Crow Heaven Burning Lightning filled the sky within each of their spaces, converging into golden lightning, which then descended with an earth-shattering momentum. Chirp chirp, in the space, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others all activated their true bodies. Golden lightning fell from their bodies, and golden lightning arcs shot out from their feathers. Their huge eyes revealed a pained expression. Along with the thunder and lightning, cries echoed in this mysterious and silent space. Roar, a dragon's roar resounded. In the deepest second level, little Xingxing's huge true body was activated. He didn't cover himself with the black tortoise divine shell. Golden lightning covered his body and dragon scales overflowed. However, little Xingxing didn't seem to feel much discomfort. He was definitely in a much better condition than Jialo Jueyu and the others. Little Xingxing had already obtained the purple gold lightning from the purple lightning profound cauldron to refine his body. Now that he had the golden crow sky burning thunder to refine his body, his situation was naturally much better. In the main hall, lightning flashed and thunder roared. Golden lightning fell from the sky. Jialo Jueyu and the other young golden-winged great rocks had all transformed into their true bodies. Amidst the rumbling thunder, accompanied by miserable cries, they were also refining their bodies with the golden crow sky-burning thunder. For them, even if they couldn't refine their divine bodies successfully, and most of them were still far from it, as long as they obtained the golden crow sky-burning thunder to refine their bodies, it would be of great benefit to them in the future. Therefore, even if they were in so much pain that they wished they were dead, all the young golden-winged great rocks gritted their teeth and resisted. The longer they held on, the more benefits they would obtain. No one wanted to give up. Rumble, outside the hall, thunderous rumbles could be heard from within the hall. Fifth Elder Jialo Yuan2 and Fourth Elder Jialo Yi both looked at the main hall, their eyes glowing with a faint golden light. I hope we can all obtain benefits. Fifth Elder Jialo Yuan2 looked at the main hall that was gradually covered in golden lightning arcs and sighed slightly. His eyes were filled with expectation. The golden crow sky burning thunder to refine one's body is not ordinary. It's so painful that you wish you were dead. It will destroy your mind. Those with weak willpower won't be able to endure it. Fourth Elder Jialo Yi smiled helplessly. Our golden-winged great rocks have no weak willpower. Fifth Elder Jialo Yuan2 smiled faintly. He was extremely confident in the younger generation of the clan. Then, his expression changed slightly. These guys will be the backbone of our clan in the future. We can't let anything happen to them. I think it's better for us to keep an eye on them for the next 3 months. Fourth Elder Jialo Yi nodded slightly. It's a foolproof plan. That's good. The younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks had all entered the secret place to refine their divine bodies with the golden crow sky-burning thunder. The entire clan was much quieter. For a time, everything was calm. The central continent was surging with wind and clouds. With the establishment of the Purifying Demon Alliance in the central continent, Dongli Chi Huang led the Purifying Demon Alliance to cleanse the evil spirits like a whirlwind sweeping away clouds. In just a few months, the few evil spirits hidden in the central continent were almost completely wiped out. The demon king Du Xiaofu, who was the head of the 12 Heavens Pridelings, did not appear. He was even hunted down by the devil religion and the divine light court. Although everyone knew that the demon king Du Xiaofu was backed by the ancient sky sect and the 7-star hall, but now that the 7-star hall had been destroyed, the ancient sky sect really could not start a war with the devil religion. After all, the demon king Du Xiaofu had not yet fallen into the hands of the devil religion. And for a colossus like the ancient sky sect, the bigger it was, the more scruples it had in various aspects. The devil religion had a mysterious origin. Without absolute certainty, the ancient sky sect could not act rashly. The ancient sky sect was not an ancient sky sect with only 1 or 2 people. Chapter 1366. Under such circumstances, Dongli Chi Huang made use of the power he had gained from dominating the Purifying Demon Alliance to cleanse the evil spirits. Without the demon king Du Xiaofu to obstruct him, his reputation soared once again and his name spread throughout Kyushu. Because the demon king Du Xiaofu's whereabouts were unknown, there had been no news of him for a long time. In addition, Sima Muhan of the ancient heaven sect had not appeared, and Xingnan of the Divine Light Court had not appeared for a long time as well. There was also Du Shaoqing of the Du family of the Desolate Country, who was once one of the top 10 Heaven's Prides, but there had been no news of her either. Dongli Qihuang had now become the leader of the younger generation in the entire Central Plains. Even Jiuling and Wu Ming found it difficult to contend against him. Dongli Qihuang's rise had also attracted many small and medium-sized forces for the Great Luan sect, and many small and medium-sized forces in the Central Plains had taken the initiative to approach the Great Luan sect. On the ancient Heaven sect, there was a huge mountain peak surrounded by mountains. It was surrounded by lush green mountains and clouds, and in the distance, there were thousands of mountains that rose and fell, looking magnificent and boundless. Junior nephew sect master, it's been so long. Is there any news of Xiaofu? An old man in white robes stood quietly on the mountain peak. He had the demeanor of an immortal, white hair, and a white beard. He carried an ancient sword on his back, and his eyes were filled with anticipation. It was Elder Gu Qingyang. Sima Taxing gazed into the distance, his green robes fluttering in the wind. He then turned to look at Elder Gu Qingyang and said, "Senior uncle, don't worry. Although we've temporarily lost news of Xiaofu, we've received news that Xiaofu is currently in the Beast region. That's not the territory of the Devil religion. No matter how powerful the Devil religion is, they can't reach into the Beast region. The lack of news at least means that Xiaofu should be safe for now. The Manchu has also sent more spies to the Beast region to investigate Xiaofu's whereabouts. I'm useless. I can't even protect my own disciple. I'm not worthy of being his master." Gu Qingyang slightly raised his eyes. His ruddy face was filled with deep self-blame. If he couldn't even protect his own disciple, how could he be his master? "Senior uncle, don't blame yourself too much. Xiaofu is also a disciple of my ancient Heaven sect. It's our sect's fault for not being enough. There's fear everywhere. The great calamity is imminent, and the Devil religion is unfathomable." Sima Taxing sighed. His long black hair was neatly combed into a bun. His skin had a faint luster, and his eyes flickered with a deep, glass-like light. "Junior nephew sect master, there's no need to say more. I understand." Elder Gu Qingyang interrupted Sima Taxing. He looked up at the sky and said, "I believe that Xiaofu is blessed with great fortune. He'll definitely be fine. Perhaps it won't be long before he returns to the Central Plains. The Dark Forest, the border of the Central Plains." At this moment, the Dark Forest was no longer the Dark Forest of the past. In these years, under the control of the World Society, the entire Dark Forest had become exceptionally prosperous. Especially the Chaos Demon City and the Dark City. Their prosperity was renowned throughout the Central Plains. Compared to the Chaos Demon City and the Dark City, the Stone City was even more famous. The Stone City was the #1 capital of the Desolate Country. Its area had expanded over the years, almost reaching the Lonling City. In these years, the experts of the World Society didn't have the time to go out and train themselves. They had all made a name for themselves. Medicine King Yi Wuming, Eagle King, Mysterious Dragon King, Stone Turtle King, Ice Python King, Flame Carp King, Extinction Sword King, Golden Condor King, and others had all grown in strength over the years. There were also Chao Yu, Hua Fankong, He Jun, Gua Kun, Meng Lai Kai, and Han Xian. They had all shown their talents. The outside world knew that these people were the backbone of the World Society. As for the most shocking members of the World Society, they were the legendary Sky Guards. Back in the sealed ancient land, Yi Piaoling, Qian Guyu, An Yaing, Duo Sha, Ying Yan, Yin Tianjue, Gu Wuying, Stone, and Silver Fox were all people who had stepped onto the lightning attraction platform. There were only a few people in the Central Plains who had stepped onto the lightning attraction platform. Yi Piaoling and the others had 9 of them. Later on, it was rumored that these 9 people were the Sky Guards of the World Society. This was shocking. However, in these years, the Sky Guards of the World Society had only appeared once in a peak second-rate sect. They had also left behind a shocking legend. It was rumored that the 7 of them had swept through a sect and left. After that, there was no more news about them. Recently, the Sky Guards were like the Demon King, Du Xiaofu. There was very little news about them. No one knew if they were still in the Central Plains. As far as the World Society was concerned, the news that outsiders received was about the 3 women. There were even people in the Central Plains who secretly discussed that although the World Society was controlled by Du Yunlong, Medicine King Yi Wuming, Eagle King, and Gong Dao, there were 3 women behind them who could not be ignored. They were Murong Yorua, Li Shui, and Yi Zijin of the Stone City's Yi family. It was rumored that Murong Yorua and the other 2 women had been in control of the World Society. In just a few years, the World Society had developed into an absolute second-rate power in the Central Plains. It was even more unfathomable. It was difficult for outsiders to pry into its true strength. Moreover, everyone knew that the World Society had another important and terrifying power. It was the Heavenly Beast Hall. The Heavenly Beast Hall's silver-winged demonic condor, housefly wing, tiger-subduing mastiff, and other demonic beast kings, as well as the thousands of demonic beast army in the Heavenly Beast Hall, were existences that any power feared. Stone City, Imperial Palace. In a side hall, the sun was shining brightly in the sky. The Imperial Palace's draconic aura rippled. At this moment, 3 beautiful figures were seated in the main hall. Although the 3 women were seated, it wasn't difficult to see that their figures were graceful and graceful. Just their backs were enough to make one's imagination run wild. Big Sister Yorua, there's still no news of the president. The Ancient Heaven sect, and we only know that the president went to the Beast region and encountered dragons. There's also a possibility that he encountered the golden-winged great rocks. Among the 3 women, one was charming and alluring. Her figure was graceful, as if she was silently seducing others. She was Li Shui. She had graduated from Tianwu Academy and had been in the World Society all these years. She had always been a core member of the World Society. Among the 3 women, one of them appeared to be 26 or 27 years old. She sat upright, appearing graceful and delicate. Her lustrous black hair cascaded down her slender waist. She was as beautiful as a fairy who had walked out of a painting. She was Murong Yorua. Hearing Li Shui's words, Murong Yorua frowned. A moment later, she parted her red lips and said softly, "Continue the search. I've already made the arrangements. The Ancient Heaven sect has been in contact with us. I believe that as long as the president shows himself in the Beast region, we'll be able to receive news." Li Shui's soft and slender waist nodded. A deep, white cleavage appeared in front of her chest. It was full of temptation. "Let's hope we can find him soon. We still have to be wary of that devil religion." Murong Yorua's expression hardened, but it couldn't conceal her ancient aura. Her temperament was refined. Perhaps it's safest if he doesn't show himself right now. The 3rd woman, who hadn't spoken up until now, spoke up. Her voice was soft and melodious. Her long skirt outlined her graceful curves. She exuded an elegant and charming aura. She looked at Murong Yorua and Li Shui with a frown. She continued, "The devil religion is unfathomable. If he shows himself, the devil religion will naturally come knocking on our door. He didn't even send news back to the desolate country and the Ancient Heaven sect because he doesn't want to implicate them. Perhaps he'll return when he feels he's strong enough." Murong Yorua and Li Shui didn't say anything as they listened to the woman's words. Both of their charming faces looked serious as they sighed. "Perhaps we don't need to worry too much. Based on my understanding of that guy, he's definitely fine right now. Perhaps when he shows himself again, he'll bring us a pleasant surprise." The woman smiled and blinked her bright black eyes. She was Yi Zijin. She'd been staying in Stone City for a while. Using her connections, she'd been able to enter the world society. Together with Li Shui and Murong, her reputation had spread far and wide. Whoosh! Suddenly, there was the sound of wind breaking. A blood-red light swept over, bringing with it a bloody aura as it rushed into the main hall. The three women raised their eyes and looked at the blood-red light that swept into the side hall. There wasn't any panic in their eyes. Instead, they smiled. "Sister Phantom, did you get any news?" Li Shui stood up. Her beautiful figure curved seductively as she asked the figure in the blood-red light. "Shou Sha, Hun Xie, and I went out this time. The news we got is a little strange." The voice was soft and charming. As the voice sounded, the blood-red light converged and a graceful figure emerged. Her bright red silk dress trailed on the ground. Her beautiful black hair was tied up with a few bright red hair ribbons. Her beautiful figure was extremely seductive. "Sister Phantom, did you get any news?" Yi Zijin raised her eyebrows and asked the woman. The woman smiled faintly. She was as elegant and pure as a budding lotus flower. However, there was also a hidden charm. She was the phantom that Du Xiaofu had brought back from the sealed ancient land. Her original form was a red spider lily. She could be considered a demon spirit. Looking at Yi Zijin, Phantom said, "We found some evil spirits to inquire." The evil spirits that came to Central Province are basically evil spirits from other provinces who came to avoid the evil purifying alliance. However, there are also evil spirits with complicated origins. What's even stranger is that when we returned, we discovered that many evil spirits had begun to gather on the other side of the river. We found out that those evil spirits intend to cross Central Province's river. Those evil spirits want to cross Central Province's river. Murong Yorua's brows furrowed when she heard this. She stood up with a solemn expression on her face as she softly said, "The Central Province's long river leads to the Million Great Mountains. It's already the territory of our world society. If those evil spirits leap into the dark forest, the flames of war will sweep through and the dark forest might be razed to the ground." Chapter 1367. Beast Killer and Soul Malevolence have already stopped the evil spirits at Zhong Province's Long River. In any case, those evil spirits are also beneficial to us. Since they've delivered themselves to our doorstep, it would be a waste not to take them. Phantom smiled, and a faint bloody aura rippled from her body. Clearly, she had obtained a lot of benefits outside recently. Something's not right. Under Yi Zijin's brows, her dark eyes kept fluctuating, as if she was thinking about something. Then, she looked up at Murong Yorua, Li Shui, and Phantom and said, "Not many evil spirits have been eliminated. With the strength of the evil purifying alliance, it should be enough to completely wipe them out. Before the other side of Zhong Province's Long River, why are there still opportunities for evil spirits to run around and just happen to come to our territory? The Great Luan sect's Dongli Chi Huang and our world society should have a lot of grudges." Back then, the Great Luan sect's Clear Luan Emperor barged into Stone City and was killed in the end. The Great Luan sect will definitely remember this. Also, that Dongli Chi Huang seems to have a lot of grudges with President. Under Murong Yorua's long eyelashes, her eyes glowed with spiritual light. She had an ancient charm and was as beautiful as a fairy who had walked out of a painting. However, everyone in the world society knew that Murong Yorua was definitely not a flower vase, but the brains of the entire world society. She was even above Han Xian, which was why she was guarding Stone City while Han Xian was guarding Chaos Demon City. Once the evil spirits cross Zhong Province's Long River, the evil purifying alliance's army will definitely chase after them. Once a battle breaks out in the dark forest will be razed to the ground. Li Shui's gaze was solemn, and her bright eyes glowed. She paused for a moment and said seriously, "If this is Dongli Chihuang's plan to kill two birds with one stone, then he's deliberately targeting our world society. At that time, our world society will definitely be implicated, and the consequences will be severe. Sister Yorua, what should we do now? Yi Zijin asked. She felt that the situation was serious, and her expression became more and more solemn. Yi Lao, Xiao Man, and the vice president are all in seclusion. I think they are all trying to break through. Unless it is extremely urgent, it is better not to disturb them. Murong Yorua's expression was solemn. Her eyes flickered. After a while, she said, inform the great elder, Han Xian, Solitary Sword King, and the others. Just in case, let the Celestial Beast Hall make preparations. All right. Li Shui nodded. Then, Murong Yorua looked to Phantom and said, Sister Phantom, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you. I understand. I will try my best to block those evil spirits from entering the central province's long river with Hun Xia and Shou Sha. Phantom stretched lazily. Her figure was so alluring that it could cause a man to have a nosebleed. However, at this moment, no man had the fortune to witness this scene. Chi, as her voice faded, the Phantom's body was wrapped in a blood-colored glow. Her bright red silk dress fluttered, and the blood-colored glow around her body rotated like a vortex. Her figure disappeared from the side hall. Inform the mysterious Dragon King, the Stone Turtle King, the Flame Carp King, and the Ice Python King that the Central Province's long river was originally their territory. They should be able to help Sister Phantom and them. Murong Yorua looked outside the side hall's door. She frowned and muttered softly, this is only the best plan. I hope Sister Phantom can stop those evil spirits from crossing the river. Otherwise, the World Summit and the desolate nation will fall into a great calamity. The sun was setting in the west, and the night was getting darker. As the night sky was like a navy blue curtain that covered the earth, it was so deep that it could not be dissolved. Only a few sparkling stars dotted the vast and boundless sky. A huge mountain stood in the night like a huge tomb. Crash, the night waves of the gorge hit the rocks on both sides. The sound echoed in the deep valley, making it seem even more frightening and cold. On the mountain peak, under the faint starlight, a tall and slender young man in a red robe with golden hair stood quietly. Under the night sky, the spirit in his eyes shone brighter and brighter. Alliance Leader. An old man appeared behind the young man. He was covered in a black robe and looked like a ghost under the night sky. He said, the Central Province's long river is not far ahead. Many people in the Alliance can't wait any longer. They want to stop the last evil spirits before they reach the Central Province's long river and clean them up. Huh, the young man laughed softly. However, it was not difficult for one to hear the faint chilliness in his soft laughter. The young man turned around. He was the reincarnated saint of the Great Luan sect, Dongli Chi Huang. He was now the alliance leader of the Purifying Evil Alliance in the Central Province. Back then, he had failed to take second place on the Lightning Platform. Later, he had failed again on the Tianhuang continent. However, as the reincarnated saint of the Great Luan sect, he had the state of mind of his previous life. Those two setbacks did not destroy him. Heaven did not let down those who worked hard. With the support of the Great Luan sect's cultivation resources and the opportunity of the Purifying Evil Alliance, Dongli Chi Huang rose again. He became the undisputed number one person of the younger generation in the Central Province. His status was even higher. He controlled the entire Purifying Evil Alliance and cleansed the evil spirits like a hot knife through butter. Dongli Chi Huang's reputation soared. Cleansing those evil spirits before the Central Province's long river. How is that possible? Then won't my plan fail? Huh, the Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix stared at the deep night sky, her eyes twinkling like the brightest stars. Her faint voice rang out, causing those who heard it to feel a warmth seeping into their hearts. She murmured, this time, not only the world gathering, even the desolate country will be uprooted. Back then, I was too careless. This time, even if that brat comes back one day, he won't have the chance to make a comeback. The great cause of the Great Luan sect should also begin. Ambitious and ruthless people are born in troubled times. Kid, I'll use you as my first stepping stone. I'll make the best use of you. I won't let you down. Time passed slowly. The younger generation of the golden-winged rocks had been refining their bodies with the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder for more than a month. Rumble, inside the strange hall, one could faintly hear the sounds of lightning and thunder from outside the hall. It was as if there were continuous thunderclaps. Inside the hall, many golden-winged rocks were entrenched. Under the golden lightning that filled the sky, their flesh was split open. They were in so much pain that they wished they were dead. However, among them, the golden-winged rocks were circulating their techniques. Golden light flickered as they took the opportunity to absorb the power of the golden lightning to refine their bodies, their flesh, their feathers, their organs, their bones, and their muscles. Inside the hall, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others were in extreme pain from the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder that was even more domineering and destructive. The pain seemed to penetrate deep into their bones. The domineering golden crow's heaven-burning thunder seemed to want to destroy everything in their bodies. The destructive power and the terrifying heat made it even harder for their bodies to resist. However, they were still stubbornly resisting. They took the opportunity to refine their divine bodies and strengthen them gradually. On the second level, Little Star's enormous body was entrenched. Golden light spread out as it absorbed the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder. On the first level at the bottom, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged. His entire body was absorbing the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder to refine his divine body. Qi La, the destructive lightning gathered by the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder surged into Du Xiaofu's body. Golden arcs of lightning quickly overflowed inside his body. Although Du Xiaofu could resist the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder at this moment. However, the numerous wild and overbearing destructive thunderbolt strength overflowed within his body. That impact caused Du Xiaofu to feel quite uncomfortable. He even felt as though time was passing by endlessly. However, under the body-refining method of the golden-winged great rock, Du Xiaofu could clearly feel that his physical body seemed to be gradually changing under the torture of the destructive power of the lightning. Every time the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder surged into his body, Du Xiaofu could feel that the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder brought a miraculous change to his physical body. As long as this continued, there might be a day when his physical body would be able to undergo an astonishing change from its original foundation. Time passed slowly. He was still suffering from this kind of boring forging. Although it was forging and tempering, this kind of boring forging and tempering was also a kind of absolute torture. Without patience and wisdom, one would not be able to endure this kind of boring torture. However, for Du Xiaofu, he had endured the tug-of-war with the earth-shattering thunder when he was forging his body with the purple-gold profound thunder in the purple thunder profound cauldron. At this moment, this was nothing. It was not to the point where it could make things difficult for Du Xiaofu. The boring time continued to pass. Du Xiaofu could faintly feel that his bones, muscles, limbs, bones, and internal organs were all changing once again, as if they were steel that had been tempered 100 times in a raging fire. Although this kind of change was extremely slow, it became more and more obvious under the accumulation of time. Sizzle, everywhere in the hall, golden electric arcs were overflowing with fluctuations. All the disciples of the golden-winged Great Rock clan were gritting their teeth as they forged their physical bodies. At this moment, no one noticed that some of the fluctuations of the golden electric arcs were gradually becoming abnormal. It seemed that unknowingly, the destructive power of the blazing lightning was becoming more and more powerful. In the space at the bottom of the hall, the golden lightning that filled the sky became more and more powerful, making it more and more difficult for Du Xiaofu's physical body to resist. Unknowingly, it was already late autumn. In the golden-winged Great Rock clan, the energy of heaven and earth was rich, and everywhere was verdant. However, there were also many mountain ranges that seemed to be plated with a layer of gold. The frost leaves were intoxicating, and the maple leaves were like fire. It was like a red sea, and the yellow and red colors were connected, covering half of the sky. In the courtyard at the mountainside, under the towering tree, Xian stood quietly. Her purple clothes fluttered on the ground, and the dark patterns of the purple flames were faintly discernible, outlining her seductive figure. She was like an otherworldly fairy. Withered yellow leaves fell from the top of the tree. They jumped and spun, as if they were dancing and fluttering. Xian raised her slender hand slightly, and a few fallen leaves fell into her palm. Her every movement was breathtaking. "If you are bored, you can walk around my clan." A sound of nature was heard, and a beautiful figure strangely landed behind Xian. Chapter 1368. I'm afraid I can't go to the places in the Golden-Winged Rock clan. The celestial voice was faint. Xian looked back. A tall and beautiful figure appeared in front of her. She had a valiant face and a noble temperament. It was Jello Kai-Ling. When Jello Kai-Ling heard this, she smiled and said in a heavenly voice, "There are some places in the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan that I can't enter even if I want to." The two women looked at each other and smiled. One was hot and seductive, and the other was charming and elegant. They had different temperaments, but they were both noble. "Your relationship with little Xingxing and Du Xiaofu seems to be quite complicated." After a while, Jello Kai-Ling walked over and asked Xian. Xian stood still, and her purple dress fluttered in the wind. She opened her red lips and said, "I don't need to tell outsiders." Jello Kai-Ling was slightly stunned, and a faint golden light flashed in her eyes. She then smiled and said, "I'm just asking. It seems that it's a bit complicated. Has his mystic bone and golden rock wings been completely dealt with in your clan?" Xian suddenly asked, looking at Jello Kai-Ling. "He is now Grandma's godson. The elders have also discussed and decided that he is now a member of my clan. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to enter the secret land to refine his divine body." Jello Kai-Ling looked at Xian and said softly, "With the personality of the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan, it's rare to see you care so much about a human. With the personality of the Golden Winged Rock clan, you shouldn't be interested in his matters," Xian said softly. "Haha." Jello Kai-Ling giggled and said, "He is now a member of my clan. It's normal for me to ask a few more questions." Buzz. As Jello Kai-Ling's voice fell, a hurried bell chime reverberated in the sky. The sound was rapid and sharp, and it was ear-piercing. "Oh no, there is a problem in the secret land." Hearing the ear-piercing bell chime, Jello Kai-Ling's eyes shone with golden light. Her feet flashed, and her beautiful figure disappeared from the mountainside courtyard. Xian looked at the sky, and a purple light flashed in her eyes. She frowned slightly. The vast space was filled with golden electric arcs, and the rumbling of thunder could be heard without end. Rumble. Thunderous booms reverberated in the air. At that moment, the gigantic hall in the shape of the great golden-winged rock was completely covered in golden lightning. Their vision was almost blurred, and the entire space was so bright that they could not see anything. It was unknown where the golden lightning came from, but it was getting brighter and brighter. The aura of destruction was getting stronger and stronger, as if it wanted to destroy everything. The temperature of the golden lightning arc was so high that it seemed to be able to burn the space. At this moment, runes flickered above the huge hall that was shaped like a golden-winged rock, converging into a visible energy barrier. It was densely covered in mysterious runes, isolating the entire hall from the golden lightning outside and preventing the violent golden lightning within the hall from rushing out. The great hall in the shape of a golden-winged rock was covered with mysterious runes. No matter how violent and destructive the golden lightning was, it was unable to destroy the energy shield. Crackle, 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 the golden lightning struck the great hall in the shape of a golden-winged rock. Under the violent power and the high temperature that could burn the space, a deep sonic boom could be heard from time to time. The violent and destructive energy ripples continued to spread out. Outside the great hall in the shape of a golden-winged rock, there were many old and middle-aged people standing there. The fourth elder, the fifth elder, and the great guardian were among them. The leaders were the great elder, the second elder, and the third elder. Greetings, elders. Jello Kaling's beautiful figure appeared in the space. After bowing to the elders, she looked at the huge hall. At this moment, the golden lightning that filled the sky and the violent and destructive aura that permeated the air shocked Jello Kaling. Her eyes were filled with golden light, and golden light surged out from her body to resist the violent and destructive aura. The great elder's tall figure stood quietly in front of everyone. His light golden hair swayed slightly under the violent aura. His silver gold robe fluttered in the wind. His aura was calm, and his eyes were slightly closed. His mind was spying on something at this moment. The golden crow burning sky lightning wants to break free again. It seems that the 100 years of silence was just a preparation. After a few breaths, the great elder opened his eyes. His beard and eyebrows were white, and his eyebrows were slightly furrowed on his old face. It really makes us worry. Does it think that it can break free at the initial domain realm? The second elder seemed a little old, but standing beside the great elder, his invisible aura was not affected much. At this moment, his face was slightly gloomy, and the space around him was distorted. The golden crow burning sky lightning is cunning. Is it prepared to break free this time? The third elder frowned. He was dressed in a scholarly robe, and his eyes were filled with doubt. Elders, they are in the secret land. Will there be any problems? Jello Kaling asked the elders in front of her worriedly. At this moment, the golden crow burning sky lightning wanted to break free, and all the younger generation were still refining their bodies inside. There are seals and restrictions placed by our ancestors inside. The golden crow burning sky lightning shouldn't be able to create any big waves. They won't have any big problems, but we can't be careless. The great protector said. Golden crow burning sky lightning, you know that you can't break free. Why are you struggling? We have already told you that as long as you agree to serve our clan for 30,000 years, you will be able to regain your freedom. We will not let you lose your sunlight. Why are you doing this? The third elder's robe shook as he looked at the hall. Although his voice was soft, it clearly resounded through the space. Ha 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 ha, 30,000 years. How long is that? Why should I serve your golden-winged rock clan for 30,000 years? Above the space where lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, a wild laughter suddenly rang out. The sound was like thunder, and it reverberated in the space, causing the lightning in the surroundings to become even more violent. Hearing this, the third elder's expression immediately became even more serious. A dazzling golden light suddenly shot out from his eyes, as if a golden-winged great peng was about to fly out of his eyes. He growled, since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then continue to be suppressed. You have no hope of escaping. Ha 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 ha, above the space, the wild laughter was like thunder, endlessly ringing out. Hearing the wild laughter that was like thunder, the first elder, second elder, and third elder's faces all turned solemn. Their faces darkened slightly as they faintly sensed that something was wrong. You can suppress me, but I don't know if you can save the younger generation of your clan. Ha 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 ha, did you think that I didn't make any preparations over the years? I have prepared for 1,000 years for today. 1,000 years, unbridled wild laughter echoed in the air. When the last word of the laughter sounded, the entire space suddenly fell into a strange tremor. Rumble, the entire space seemed to be quaking and shaking. The large hall that was shaped like a golden-winged great peng also began to shake violently. High up in the sky, numerous golden lightning bolts that were as thick as an arm rained down on the large hall like a storm, causing cracks to appear on the ground. On the square in front of the hall, many elders waved their sleeves. Golden light surged out from their bodies, turning into golden energy barriers that enveloped the surroundings. They instantly blocked the wild and destructive energy outside the energy barriers. Chi! Jialo Kaling's face changed color. She waved her delicate hand, and a vigorous golden energy swept out and wrapped around her, isolating her from the wild and destructive aura of the golden lightning. Not good. The evil thunder wants to attack Ju Yu and the others. The great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, was also enveloped in a golden halo. His face turned pale as he looked at the hall in front of him solemnly. First Elder, they will be in danger. Is there any way to get them out first? Jialo Kaling's eyes surged with golden light as she hurriedly asked the First Elder. There is no way. No one above the domain realm can enter the hall. The First Elder shook his head at Jialo Kaling. He looked at the golden-winged rock-shaped hall in front of him and said, however, there are seals and restrictions set up by our ancestors in the hall. It should be impossible for the evil thunder to deal with them. Unless. Not good. Suddenly, the great elder's voice came to an abrupt halt. He looked into the hall and immediately closed his eyes. A vigorous energy fluctuation immediately swept out from between his eyebrows. The vigorous fluctuation was invisible, but it caused the space to fluctuate. Wherever it passed, traces of golden light overflowed and resisted the wild and destructive golden lightning. Looking at the First Elder's action, the Second Elder, the Third Elder, the Great Guardian, Jialo Kaling, the Fourth Elder, and the others fixed their gazes on the First Elder. Their eyes glowed with a golden brilliance. The Great Elder peeked out with his mind. It was as if he had reached the end of this space. There was a bright golden sea of lightning there, boiling like golden lava. It was extremely strange and bright. A scorching heat was distorting the void. At this moment, the terrifying power that was being emitted out of nowhere was enough to turn any ordinary honorable realm cultivator into ashes if he got close to it. At this moment, the golden sea of lightning was like a reflection of a huge golden-winged rock. At the bottom of the hall, golden talisman engravings shrouded the hall like a spider web. However, the light was getting dimmer and cracks were beginning to appear. The cracks were getting bigger and bigger. The rolling golden lightning was pouring into the hall like a stream of water. Chi, outside the hall, the First Elder, who was on the square, suddenly opened his eyes. Golden light gushed out from the depths of his eyes and he looked extremely dignified. First Elder, how is it? The Great Guardian, Jialo Huanyu, asked the First Elder. It's not good. The evil thunder has been pretending to break out and attack the hall. In fact, it's just lulling us. Its real purpose is to quietly burn the seals and restrictions in the hall for thousands of years. We have been fooled. All the younger generation of the clan is facing imminent disaster. The First Elder said. His old face began to tremble. Chapter 1369. This is bad. Once the golden crow sky burning lightning enters the main hall, Jueyu and the others will not be able to resist it. Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu's body trembled. There was a seal within the main hall. After it was activated, the golden crow sky burning lightning could only enter within a certain range to allow the younger generation of the clan to refine their divine bodies and ensure that the strength of the golden crow sky burning lightning was within their range of resistance. However, if the seal disappeared, the golden crow sky burning lightning would lose its obstruction and isolation. It would be enough to deal a devastating blow to the younger generation of the clan who were refining their divine bodies. It should be known that the main hall was located within the territory of the golden crow sky burning lightning. Elder, what should we do now? Jialo Kaling was anxious. The severity of the matter was self-evident. There is no other way. Unless Jialo Jueyu and the others can sense that something is wrong and come out immediately. However, I'm afraid it's already too late. The seal inside has already been destroyed. It's already too late for them to come out. The Great Elder's aged face was very solemn. Great Elder, can we destroy the main hall and save them? Jialo Kaling asked the great elder. Since domain realm cultivators could not enter the main hall, they should be able to destroy it directly. If they were too late, the consequences for the younger generation of the clan would be really serious. This palace was originally set up by the ancestors of the clan in order to suppress the golden crow burning heaven lightning. As a precaution, the ancestors of the clan had also made preparations. Once the golden crow burning heaven lightning was able to break through the seal and escape, the palace would be destroyed. Once the main hall is destroyed, the entire space will collapse and automatically activate a set of defensive seals left behind by the clan's ancestors. It will be able to completely suppress the golden crow sky burning lightning and isolate it in the void. 100 years later, the seal will disappear. At that time, it will be enough time for us to prepare everything to suppress the golden crow sky burning lightning. The great elder looked at the main hall in the shape of a golden rock that was being ravaged by golden lightning. His eyes were solemn as he said, "Therefore, even if we destroy the main hall, we will not be able to enter it. We will only completely seal them inside. At that time, it will be even more difficult for them to escape." How could this be? Jialo Kailing's expression was extremely solemn. She looked at the main hall in front of her. Even the great elder, second elder, and third elder couldn't think of a solution. She was even more powerless. Whoosh, the sound of rushing wind resounded, coming from high up in the sky. A faint golden light rippled, and a tall and majestic golden figure descended in front of the many elders. A long-haired old man who looked to be in his 60s walked out. His golden robe was embroidered with the image of a golden-winged rock. It was as if it was alive, and it was releasing a pressure. Patriarch. The surrounding elders and protectors immediately saluted. The person who had come was the patriarch of the golden-winged Great Pin clan, Jialo Changtian. Great elder, what's the situation now? When Jialo Changtian appeared, his gaze immediately fell on the main hall. His aura was ethereal, but it was incomparably domineering. The situation is not good. The evil thunder has been secretly destroying the seal below for 1,000 years. This time, its purpose should be to deal with the younger generation of our clan who entered the seal, the great elder said in a deep voice. We were careless. Jialo Changtian looked dignified. At this moment, there was not much aura spreading out from his body, but it made the surrounding space fluctuate abnormally. Patriarch, once the evil thunder comes out, what should we do? The third elder looked at Jialo Changtian, his golden eyes deep. At this moment, he seemed to be making a difficult decision in his heart. We must not let the evil thunder come out. It's daytime outside now. Once the evil thunder comes out, even if we can suppress it, with the characteristics of the evil thunder, it will inevitably lead to a catastrophe in our clan, Jialo Changtian said with a dignified look. But Jialo Jueyu and the others are still inside. Jialo Jueyu still has the true bone in his body, which is the future of our clan, the second elder said. The outside is the foundation of our clan. There are more disciples in the clan, and those young ones are even more powerless in front of the evil thunder, Jialo Changtian said with a dignified look. He was in a dilemma. Father, Jialo Jueyu and the others are still inside. Is there really no other way? Jialo Kai-Ling listened to the conversation between her father and the other elders. She became more and more dignified, but she still asked again, hoping that her father had a final solution. It seems that they are already trapped inside. The evil thunder wants to deal with them, but I'm afraid that it doesn't want to kill them. Most likely, it wants to use them as a hostage to escape. Jialo Changtian stood with his hands behind his back and said, if that's the case, there is still a chance, at least we can save them. Patriarch, if that's the case, we must give up the golden crow burning sky lightning. If we lose the golden crow burning sky lightning, it will affect our clan too much. The third elder frowned slightly and said, that evil thunder is so cunning, I'm afraid that it won't let them go easily. Act according to the circumstances, Jialo Changtian said, his eyes fixed on the hall in front of him. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, the sound was like endless thunder. What's going on? It seems that something is wrong. Under the increasing heat of the destructive aura, it finally attracted Du Xiaofu's attention. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein and primordial spirit, which contained two spiritual lightnings, were fluctuating more violently. The surrounding golden thunderbolts were also getting bigger. Is there a problem with the golden crow burning sky lightning? Under the increasingly intense golden crow burning sky lightning's wild and overbearing destructive aura, Du Xiaofu's resistance had almost reached its limit. Golden light surged out from both of his eyes. He could not help but be worried about one thing. This huge reaction from the golden crow burning sky lightning might really cause it to erupt. Bang bang bang, just as Du Xiaofu was worrying, in the depths of the vast space, which was overflowing with golden light and thunderbolts, there was a series of thunders. Rumble, then, from the depths of the strange space, a large amount of golden thunderbolts poured down from the sky like a waterfall. The entire strange space shook violently, as if it was about to collapse. Gee, cries of golden-winged great rocks resounded. Then, huge golden-winged great rocks appeared in the space. A huge dragon was in the sky. Its body was overflowing with golden lightning. Its eyes were demonic and golden flames surged out. Its aura was supreme. It was little Xingxing's original body. Pu, the further back in the space, the more golden-winged great rocks spat out golden blood from their mouths amidst the golden thunderbolts. Under the sweeping golden thunderbolts that filled the sky, many golden-winged great rocks were split open. Their feathers flew, revealing their white bones. Du Xiaofu's body was wrapped in golden light. He saw little Xingxing's huge body, as well as Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo, and the others in the sky. Father, there seems to be a big problem here. Little Xingxing's original body was in the sky. It immediately circled beside Du Xiaofu. Its huge body lowered as it looked at Du Xiaofu with its huge golden flame eyes. It's not just a problem. It's big trouble. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. His heart was almost breaking down. What he was afraid of had happened. Looking at the current situation, it was not difficult for Du Xiaofu to know that it was not the golden crow sky burning lightning that had rebelled. Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, and all the younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks could appear in the space. It was definitely because the golden crow sky burning lightning had destroyed the seal inside. Ha ha ha, damn golden-winged great rocks. You've trapped me in darkness for 4,000 years. Today, I'll collect some interest. A wild and furious roar resounded in the sky just as the huge bodies of the golden-winged great rocks appeared. When this voice spread and landed in everyone's ears, it was like a heavy hammer. Even with the cultivation of Du Xiaofu, little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, and the others, they could not help but feel their hearts skip a beat. Whoosh! Just as that heart-stopping voice fell, a series of earth-shattering explosions sounded from the dazzling electric arcs in the sky. In the next moment, the wild and scorching aura of destruction became more and more violent. Dazzling golden lightning exploded and bolts of golden lightning struck down. There were probably tens of thousands of these bolts of golden lightning. The entire space was filled with the sharp sound of the explosion. It was as if the entire space was filled with continuous crackling sounds. Wherever the golden lightning passed, the space also collapsed. They were all bolts of lightning that were as thick as an arm and carried a terrifying force as they struck down. At this moment, these waves of terrifying destructive auras were probably capable of blasting an ordinary Exalt Realm cultivator into pieces. Not good, the strong protect the weak. Jialo Jueyu shouted. He spread his wings and exploded with golden light. He used all his strength to protect many of the weaker golden-winged great rocks near him. Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo, and the other peak existences of the younger generation all used all their strength to protect the young. Crackle. The space trembled. The tens of thousands of bolts of golden lightning finally landed on the huge bodies of the golden-winged great rocks. Many of the golden-winged great rocks spat out blood again. Their feathers fluttered as they cried out in pain. Boom, the dense golden lightning struck down. The vast and violent destructive power far exceeded the power of refining the divine body. It was not something that ordinary cultivators could withstand. My life is over, a golden-winged great rock with a weak cultivation narrowed his eyes. His body was covered in blood, revealing his white bones. His sharp eyes were filled with despair. The dense golden lightning struck down. At this moment, he knew that he could not withstand it. Jielu and the others were too far away to protect him. Crackle, right at this moment, a seemingly tiny figure appeared in the air above the enormous golden-winged great rock. Dazzling golden light surged out from his body, completely withstanding the golden lightning in the surrounding space. Chapter 1370. Crackle. All the golden lightning bolts fell. They had originally covered the gigantic golden-winged rock's body, but now they were all blocked by the tiny figure. In the end, they turned into a mushroom cloud of golden lightning and retracted, surging into the body of the tiny figure. Thud thud, under the impact of such golden lightning, the tiny figure also staggered back several dozen feet before stabilizing himself. The purple robes on his body fluttered, wrapped in golden light, and his eyes overflowed with golden lightning. In this space, other than Du Xiaofu, there was no one else. Humph! When the golden lightning fell, Du Xiaofu also let out a muffled groan. Under the impact of the scorching destructive aura, his internal organs were also severely impacted. Fortunately, in the end, Du Xiaofu did not suffer too much damage. With the thunder martial veins in his body and his freakish physical body, he had a lot of advantages. At this moment, under the tremendous impact, traces of golden lightning overflowed on Du Xiaofu's body. Then, his physical body seemed to undergo a minute change that was difficult to detect with the naked eye. The enormous golden crow burning sky thunder surged into his body. Under the circulation of Du Xiaofu's body cultivation method, his divine body was refined, and the benefits his physical body received increased. During this period of time, as he refined his divine body, Du Xiaofu could feel his physical body metamorphosing once again. However, it seemed that he was still quite far away from refining his divine body into the body of a true rock. He did not know when he would be able to achieve that. Du Xiaofu had not completely sacrificed himself to help the golden-winged rock just now. He had only taken advantage of his physical body. Since he still needed the golden crow burning sky thunder to refine his divine body, he had reached out to help. After all, he was now considered a member of the golden-winged rock clan. However, at this moment, the gigantic golden-winged rock that Du Xiaofu had saved thought that it was definitely going to die. It did not expect that at the critical moment, it would be saved by the human Du Xiaofu. After recovering from its daze, the golden-winged rock looked at the tiny figure with gratitude. Many golden-winged rock in the surroundings also saw this scene. In their hearts, the human Du Xiaofu had risked his life to save the golden-winged rock. Their eyes were all filled with shock. However, at a time like this, not many golden-winged rock had the time to think. The berserk golden crow heaven-burning lightning swept down once again, and a tyrannical and destructive aura filled the entire space. Just by feeling the scorching and destructive aura of the tyrannical and destructive aura, one's heart would tremble in fear. The golden-winged rock. Golden Crow Jiu. Jielu Jiuyu's voice rang out as golden light erupted. At this moment, he had actually activated his true bones. The sound of the Tao reverberated in the air, contending with the sound of thunder. Boundless golden light shot out, protecting many of the golden-winged rocks whose cultivation bases were not high enough. Do I even need to say this? Du Xiaofu muttered. He looked at Jiu Jian's gigantic body in the sky. He seemed to be much stronger than before he entered the secret area. At this moment, He was also the golden-winged rock with the strongest resistance to the golden crow burning sky thunder. However, even though Jiujian had activated his true bones, he still seemed to be in a difficult situation while protecting the other golden-winged rock. Then, looking at the golden crow burning sky thunder that covered the sky and earth, Du Xiaofu frowned. He asked Jiujian, "The golden-winged rock has broken free of the seal. Do we have to leave now?" Jiujian looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "The golden crow burning sky thunder has already destroyed the seal. We are also trapped by the golden crow burning sky thunder. I'm afraid we won't be able to escape." What? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and probed with his mind. Under the scorching aura of destruction, his primordial spirit, which had fused with 2 bolts of spiritual thunder, was also greatly affected. In the end, it was not difficult to feel that the surroundings were already surrounded by the golden crow heaven-burning thunder. It would be really difficult to get out. "This is bad." Du Xiaofu's expression became dignified as he waved his hand, directly withstanding a bolt of golden lightning that shot down from above his head. He continued to refine his divine body with the body transformation method as he asked Jialo Jueyu, "The golden crow heaven-burning thunder has broken free from the seal. The elders of the family should know about this, right?" The golden crow heaven-burning lightning had broken free from the seal. Du Xiaofu thought that as long as the elders of the golden-winged great rocks knew about it, they would immediately enter this space to bring everyone out of this dangerous situation. No matter how difficult it was to deal with the golden crow burning sky lightning, it was only at the initial domain level. The elders of the great golden-winged rock clan were extraordinary. It was naturally impossible for them to deal with the golden crow burning sky lightning. This, Jialo Jueyu's huge golden eyes were solemn as he looked down at Du Xiaofu. A bitter smile appeared on his face as he said, "The elders should have discovered the commotion inside. However, as far as I know, it is impossible for the elders to enter at this moment. There are restrictions inside that were set up by the ancestors of my clan. Cultivators above the domain realm are simply unable to enter. Even if they destroy this palace, it will be useless. Once the palace is destroyed, the entire space here will collapse and be sealed for 100 years. Damn." When Du Xiaofu heard this, he was stunned for a moment. Then he shouted and waved his hand to resist the golden lightning bolts that fell down around him. He was no longer in the mood to refine his divine body. He asked Jialo Jueyu seriously, "You mean, we can't leave now and can only fend for ourselves?" "That's more or less what I mean." Jialo Jueyu had been protecting many of the great golden-winged rocks that were not strong enough. Cracks began to appear on his feathers and golden blood began to seep out. He continued to smile bitterly at Du Xiaofu, "Unless we can find a way to escape on our own, we can only fend for ourselves." Ao. Suddenly, a dragon's roar rang out. Xiaolong's huge body was also helping to protect 2 great golden-winged rocks that were not strong enough. His abnormal physical body was also beginning to feel strained. He immediately activated the black tortoise divine shell. A black light surged out and resisted the golden crow burning sky lightning. "Humph, there are a few who are not weak. There is also a human. His primordial spirit is so strange. Why does he have such an aura?" Strange, that domineering voice came from the sky, and there was some doubt in it. However, that domineering voice rumbled once again, and it shook people's souls like a heavenly drum. "Unfortunately, all of you overestimated yourselves. Do you think you can stop me with just a few inexperienced juniors? How laughable." Whoosh! As the voice that shook people's souls fell, the golden lightning in the sky surged and suddenly shrank. As the golden lightning lingered, even more violent and scorching bolts of golden lightning shot out from the dazzling golden lightning arcs like giant pythons. They tore through space, bringing with them terrifying sonic booms as they fiercely fell again. Pu GG, in an instant, many of the great golden-winged rocks cried out. Many of them were in an incomparably miserable state, their feathers standing on end. A few of the great golden-winged rocks were already on the verge of death. They could no longer resist the destructive golden crow burning sky lightning. Jialo Jueo and Jialo Juekong's huge bodies were also injured. They spat out large mouthfuls of rock's blood. Even Jialo Jueyu's mouth was overflowing with blood. Even after activating his true bones, he could no longer resist the destructive golden crow burning sky lightning. So painful, little Xingxing cursed. After suffering the power of the golden lightning, the light on his body dimmed a lot. However, more than half of the power of the lightning was quietly absorbed by the mysterious runes on the black tortoise divine shell. However, under the golden lightning, little Xingxing's entire body was in extreme pain. Some of his exposed dragon scales were cracked. This was caused by protecting the other two great golden-winged rocks. We can't continue like this. We have to think of a way to escape. Otherwise, even little Xingxing will be in danger. Du Xiaofu's mind raced. The situation was getting worse and worse. Even if he endured it, little Xingxing would be in danger. Moreover, Du Xiaofu could not really watch this large group of great golden-winged rocks suffer a great calamity. Even if it was for the sake of his god-grandmother, he could not just watch them die. Bang, 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 in a short moment, under the violent and scorching golden crow burning sky lightning, many great golden-winged rocks were once again heavily injured. Their feathers flew and blood splattered in the air. Pft! Jialo Jueyu was injured once again. Cries reverberated in the thunder. Despair was already in the eyes of many great golden-winged rocks. All great golden-winged rocks, withdraw your true forms and approach me. If you want to live, if you want to have a chance at survival, hurry up. Du Xiaofu shouted. The great golden-winged rocks on his back spread. Golden light surged. At this moment, the aura of a nirvana martial saint swept out. Relying on his physical body, the lightning martial vein in his body, and the power of his origin spirit, Du Xiaofu stood proudly in this golden lightning space. He naturally had a domineering aura that was different from the others. Hearing this, the surrounding great golden-winged rocks all looked at Du Xiaofu. When they heard Du Xiaofu's words, the group of great golden-winged rocks seemed to have some doubts. Their true forms were the strongest state of their physical bodies and strength. Now that they had withdrawn their true forms, especially in such a dangerous situation, they could not help but be suspicious and hesitate. Father, have you thought of a way? When little Xingxing heard this, he immediately withdrew his true form without hesitation. However, he still activated the black tortoise divine shell on his body. His small body directly protected the black tortoise divine shell. It was extremely comical, but very practical. The violent and destructive golden crow burning sky lightning seemed to be completely useless against little Xingxing's black tortoise divine shell. If you try, you might have a chance. If you don't try, you won't have any chance, Du Xiaofu said to little Xingxing. Chapter 1371. Everyone listen to Du Xiaofu, quick. In the sky, Jialo Jueyu's golden eyes pondered for a moment before he immediately retracted his great golden-winged ping body and rushed to Du Xiaofu's side. Swoosh swoosh, the surrounding great golden-winged pings no longer hesitated when they saw that Jialo Jueyu had already retracted his body. Even though they were still doubtful, they still hurriedly retracted their bodies, using all their strength to resist the golden crow sky burning lightning as they swiftly approached Du Xiaofu's side. Rumble, the great golden-winged ping wings on Du Xiaofu's back expanded several dozen feet. Endless golden light surged out, resisting the golden crow sky burning lightning and protecting the many great golden-winged ping clan disciples. Is it a human or a great golden-winged ping? Why is the Yuan spirit aura so strange, like, the domineering voice sounded in the sky with some confusion. Even the endless stream of golden lightning paused for a moment. Little Xingxing, can your divine black tortoise shell withstand it for a while longer? You just need to help protect us up there. Du Xiaofu asked little Xingxing as he looked at the brightest arc of lightning in the sky. His expression was extremely grave. I'll give it a try with all my strength. It won't be easy for this golden crow sky-burning lightning to deal with my divine black tortoise shell. Little Xingxing nodded. He formed a hand seal and the black tortoise divine shell on his body immediately expanded, turning into 100 feet in size. A glaring ink-black symbol light surged out. Suddenly, there seemed to be an illusionary beast roaring out like a dragon. Roar! The ink-black runes were dazzling to the eye. This illusory beast was faintly covered in scales and was completely black in color. The turtle and snake intersected as if they were alive. An enormous pressure spread out, causing the surrounding space to distort. Spatial ripples spread out in all directions, causing the surrounding space to tremble. Humph, you're courting death, as if sensing the aura erupting from little Xingxing's divine black tortoise shell, the domineering voice in the sky once again descended. The golden lightning that had paused for a moment earlier once again destroyed space, mainly sweeping towards Du Xiaofu, little Xingxing and the rest. Follow behind me. Little Xingxing cried out. At this moment, there was a supreme aura within her small body, causing the surrounding golden-winged great rocks to reveal shocked gazes. Boom! Suddenly, little Xingxing raised the black tortoise's divine shell and soared into the sky, protecting the surrounding golden-winged great rocks under the divine shell. At that moment, around the black tortoise divine shell, there was a terrifying energy coming from all directions. Waves of strange energy started to gather. The terrifying energy emitted from the shell caused spatial cracks to appear in the surrounding space, resisting the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Although everyone was surprised as to why Du Xiaofu chose to advance instead of retreat, there was no other way out. They could only follow little Xingxing and soar into the sky. Rumble! Bolts of purple gold lightning tore through space like giant golden pythons. They were accompanied by a terrifying destructive force as they ruthlessly struck little Xingxing's black tortoise divine shell. He used his own strength to protect everyone. At this moment, the inky black light on the black tortoise's divine shell dimmed under the golden lightning. Little Star, who was supporting the black tortoise's divine shell, was instantly swept away by a huge force. Ugh! Little Xingxing vomited a huge mouthful of blood after being struck by such a lightning force. Little Xingxing, let me do it. The power of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning had exceeded Du Xiaofu's expectations. He immediately called out to little Xingxing. Father, I'm fine. Think of a way to get us out. Little Xingxing cried out. He ignored the blood at the corner of his mouth and spat out another mouthful of blood onto the black tortoise's divine shell. Ayo! The blood was completely absorbed by the black tortoise's divine shell. The inky black light became resplendent once again. The roar of a dragon rang out, resisting the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Little Xingxing's body shot into the sky like lightning, bringing everyone into the sky. The group of golden-winged great rocks had complicated gazes as they watched the scene before them. They were extremely emotional. They had never thought that they would have to rely on a human and a dragon to escape in such a situation. At this moment, the human and dragon were still doing their best to protect them. They did not abandon them, who had once ostracized them. Rumble, high up in the sky, another wave of destructive golden lightning descended. It fell onto little Xingxing's black tortoise's divine shell like a storm. Under the continuous bombardment of lightning, little Xingxing's divine shell, which was protecting everyone, dimmed once again. It was engulfed by the resplendent golden lightning. Pfft! Little Xingxing's small body trembled. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but his bewitching eyes were abnormally determined. Father, we're here. I can't hold on any longer. This golden crow heaven-burning lightning is too powerful. Little Xingxing cried out. After being bombarded by the golden crow heaven-burning lightning, his aura began to wither. The black tortoise's divine shell became dimmer and dimmer, as if it could no longer hold on. Then, the black tortoise's divine shell that little Xingxing held up turned into an inky black talisman pattern that enveloped little Xingxing. Although the talisman pattern formed by the black tortoise's divine shell dimmed, an inky black light spread out from it once again. It automatically protected little Xingxing's small body. Crackle, high up in the sky, a large swathe of golden lightning descended violently again, destroying space. Without the protection of little Xingxing's black tortoise's divine shell, the golden lightning immediately swept over everyone's heads. Not good, under that vast and domineering destructive aura, it made one's hair stand on end and their beast souls tremble. Rumble, in that split second, a purple lightning burst out from the void and instantly covered the surrounding sky. The vast aura instantly caused space to tremble violently, causing the bright golden lightning to be diluted a little. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's body leaped out. His eyes, which were originally overflowing with golden light, began to emit purple lightning arcs. His entire body was covered with a purple-gold lightning talisman pattern. Du Xiaofu activated his thunder martial vein. With his body as the center, purple lightning immediately spread out. In an instant, a purple-silver snake flashed in the void. A murderous aura descended. It didn't carry any killing intent, but it displayed the majesty of creation and the righteousness of heaven and earth. The purple lightning was extremely strong and young. It could sweep through the heavens and punish all living things. Compared to it, the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning, which was the most domineering, scorching, and destructive, also faintly trembled. It's really a human. What kind of martial vein is this? High up in the sky, a surprised and domineering voice resounded. The golden lightning fluctuated as if it was shocked. Everyone, come close to me. Without any delay, Du Xiaofu shouted loudly. Then, the golden talisman pattern on his body flashed out and gathered into the five-finger mountain peak. Activating the martial vein spirit, a golden light suddenly appeared. Du Xiaofu's figure was immediately wrapped under the martial vein spirit. At this moment, in this dangerous place, trapped in this strange space, Du Xiaofu felt the existence of the seal in the sky with the strength of his primordial spirit. Du Xiaofu guessed that as long as he relied on the five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit to escape, he should be able to escape. As long as he could escape, there was no need to worry about the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder outside with the experts of the Golden-Winged Great Rock Clan. Boom! In a short moment, golden light erupted. The five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit that enveloped Du Xiaofu's body also instantly expanded and evolved. As if it had been given life, dense spiritual energy spread out and immediately enveloped the surrounding stars, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others. The five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit communicated with the energy of heaven and earth. The pressure was rolling like a long rainbow. The golden talisman pattern that filled the sky was released as if it could crush and suppress all things in the world. Spatial ripples appeared and the seal was triggered. It seemed that it was about to take the opportunity to escape. What a strange martial vein, what a strange martial vein spirit. Kid, you can't escape. Stay here. The domineering thunderous roar suddenly sounded. In the bright golden lightning arc high up in the sky, there was a scorching and terrifying temperature fluctuation. The golden lightning was like a water surface that had a bomb thrown into it, causing violent ripples of destruction to appear. Boom, a bomb-like sound of thunder came out, and a bright golden lightning burst out from above. Looking carefully, it was actually an incomparably huge three-legged giant bird that was born. The three-legged giant bird was shaped like a crane, with 3 feet under its abdomen. Its entire body was golden and dazzling, like the flowing magma of the sun, and the surrounding electric arcs were overflowing. Gee! The three-legged giant bird screamed, and the sound wave tore through the space. With the earth-shattering golden lightning, it suddenly swept fiercely onto the five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit that Du Xiaofu was about to escape. Qi La, the 3 sharp claws were like heavenly blades, tightly clasping onto the golden five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit. Chi Lala, suddenly, Du Xiaofu's golden five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit trembled violently under that terrifying force. Small cracks suddenly appeared on the martial vein spirit, and the cracks immediately climbed up the entire golden mountain peak's martial vein spirit, and it was about to shatter completely. Pucci, at this moment, Du Xiaofu spat out a large mouthful of blood, and his face instantly turned pale. Such a vast force was definitely not something he could withstand right now. You guys go first, I'll cover you. At the critical moment, Du Xiaofu shouted loudly, and a hint of sharpness and decisiveness surged in his eyes. His entire body surged with resplendent purple lightning, and his killing intent swept out, revealing the majesty of creation, and his aura was extremely masculine and yang. In the next moment, Du Xiaofu's figure rushed out from the golden five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit that was about to crack, and a lightning palm print slapped towards the huge three-legged giant bird with all his might. The resplendent purple lightning that blotted out the sky and covered the earth shot out from the palm print, instantly colliding with the golden lightning three-legged giant bird's body. Rumble, this collision caused the surrounding space to explode. The purple and golden arcs of lightning were like the most gorgeous fireworks that spread out. Under that kind of brilliance, any trace of brilliance was destroyed. Chi Lala, Du Xiaofu used all his strength to activate the thunder martial vein. At this moment, he also forcefully shook the huge body of the resplendent golden lightning three-legged giant bird away from the martial vein spirit. Chapter 1372. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was bleeding pale golden blood from his mouth. His body was knocked back from the void, his hair dancing wildly and stained with blood. He was in a sorry state. However, this was enough. Du Xiaofu's five-fingered golden mountain vein spirit had already disappeared from this space along with little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, and all the younger generation of the great golden-winged rock clan. Bastard, seeing the golden mountain vein spirit disappear from this space, the golden lightning three-legged giant bird suddenly screeched. It flapped its wings and an invisible wave spread out. Whoosh, with Du Xiaofu as the center, the surrounding space was suddenly filled with strange bright golden lightning, enveloping Du Xiaofu completely. What a strange martial vein. It has a lot to do with lightning. A puny human actually has a spiritual lightning soul seed. The heavens are really helping me. I don't need those great golden-winged rocks anymore. The heavens are helping me. Heavenly lightning apocalypse. The three-legged giant bird of dazzling golden lightning screeched. Golden lightning shot out endlessly from the void and swept across the sky. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped the entire space, as if covering the vast and boundless space. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Bright golden lightning poured down from the void, like a waterfall hanging from the 9 heavens, connecting the top and bottom of the void. The blazing and domineering destructive power was at its peak, causing the surrounding void to boil like a stormy sea. A destructive power quietly erupted and spread out. The entire space began to tremble. From high up in the sky, it seemed as if the space was beginning to collapse. The entire space was on the verge of collapse. Not good. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's eyes were serious, and his expression changed drastically. Rumble, in the square outside the great golden-winged rock hall, Jialo Changtian, the great elder, Jialo Kaling, the great guardian, and other experts of the great golden-winged rock clan looked at the huge hall in front of them that was on the verge of collapse and listened to the soul-shaking thunder. At this moment, there was nothing they could do. The commotion inside is getting louder and louder. I'm afraid they're already dead. The great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, said solemnly. Patriarch, there seems to be something wrong inside. What if the evil lightning escapes? Fourth Elder Jialo Ye's expression was as grave as First Guardian Jialo Huanyu's. Both of them felt that the commotion in the hall was somewhat special. We absolutely can't let that evil lightning leave this place. Once it leaves this place, given its talent and characteristics, it will bring a catastrophe to our clan. Jialo Changtian said to fourth elder Jialo Yi. Patriarch, if Jialo Jueyu and the others are already dead, and evil thunder is still escaping, shouldn't we prepare in advance? Fifth elder Jialo Yuantu clenched his teeth. At this moment, he didn't want anything bad to happen to Jialo Jueyu and the other young people, but if the worst came to worst, he could only make preparations in advance. Wait a little longer. Don't take the next step until the very last moment. Maybe a miracle will happen and they will be able to find a way to escape. Jialo Changtian stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Golden light gushed out from his eyes. At this moment, his expression was solemn, but his temperament was still as arrogant as ever. Rumble, suddenly, just as Jialo Changtian's voice fell, the huge hall of the golden-winged rock clan began to shake, and then it began to crack. Crack crack, a slight cracking sound came from the void, and in an instant, the cracks climbed up the entire hall. Oh no, it seems that evil thunder is destroying the hall by itself. At this moment, the experts of the golden-winged rock clan in front of the hall were all shocked. Once the hall was destroyed, the space would collapse, and the entire space would be sealed for 100 years. Then, all the young golden-winged rock clan who entered this time would really be doomed, and they would not be able to come out alive. At this moment, everyone present were experts from the golden-winged great rocks, so it was naturally not difficult for them to discern that at this moment, it was the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning that was taking the initiative to destroy the entire hall. This caused everyone to be puzzled. The younger generation has been completely annihilated, and all of them have been killed. Is this a great disaster for our clan? On the great elder's old face, his eyes were calm, his expression was sighing, and his heart was filled with grief. Is this the tribulation of our clan? Everyone's eyes were filled with grief. The younger generation had all suffered a calamity, and they were all annihilated. They were all disciples of their clan, their blood relatives. Even if everyone present was an expert of the golden-winged rock clan, they could not help but feel grief in their hearts. Could it be that there really isn't a miracle? Jialo Changtian stood with his hands behind his back, and within his long sleeves, his fists were clenched tightly. The younger generation had all suffered a calamity, and this was a huge blow to the entire golden-winged rock clan. Swish, suddenly, above the cracked golden-winged rock-shaped hall in front of him, spatial ripples rippled, and resplendent golden runes surged out. In the next moment, under the astonished gazes of everyone, a golden five-fingered mountain peak flashed out like a real lightning bolt, and one could faintly see figures wrapped within it. Rumble, at the same time, the huge hall also completely cracked, and began to collapse amidst the rumbling thunder and lightning. Swish, from high above the sky, a large number of resplendent golden thunderbolts surged out, and directly swept towards the golden five-fingered mountain peak. They've come out. Everyone, retreat quickly. If the hall is destroyed, this space will collapse, and everything will be sealed for 100 years. When Jialo Changtian's voice resounded in the void, his figure had already appeared behind the golden five-fingered mountain peak. His long robe fluttered in the wind, and from the void around Jialo Changtian, a resplendent golden rune surged out, converging into a handprint, like a pair of wings that shook the sky, and directly swept out. Swish, Jialo Changtian's handprint swept out, and wherever it passed, everything in the space was annihilated, and the resplendent golden thunderbolts that were chasing after the golden five-fingered mountain peak disappeared into the void in an instant. Let's go. At the same time, Jialo Changtian waved his hand, and a golden light wrapped around the golden five-fingered mountain peak. The golden light energy twisted the void, and the resplendent golden light climbed up the huge golden five-fingered mountain peak's shadow, and immediately disappeared from this space along with the golden five-fingered mountain peak's shadow. Swoosh 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 swoosh, one by one, the figures also rushed into the sky, and immediately disappeared from this space in a hurry. Rumble, as the figures of the crowd disappeared, the vast space around began to collapse strangely. A large number of resplendent golden thunderbolts, like a sea of thunderbolts, like a golden python, violently roaring, and wildly overflowing. At this moment, in this collapsed void, resplendent golden runes suddenly spread out from the collapsed space. These golden runes seemed to carry a force from ancient times, covering the sky and the earth, and finally, above the collapsed void, converging into a huge golden-winged rock shadow. Screech. The golden-winged rock shadow screeched, and an overbearing force from ancient times descended, with a supreme force, as if penetrating through the ancient times, and finally penetrating the space, and then began to distort it, and then everything began to disappear. Swish swish, in the mountains of the golden-winged rock clan, figures broke out from the void and landed in an ancient square. Rumble, above the mountains, the space in front of them suddenly seemed to be torn apart, and a large number of golden thunderbolts swept out, as if a huge golden space hole had appeared in the sky, and the sound of thunder resounded endlessly from it, making people tremble in fear. Chi-la, golden light spread out, and a large number of golden figures rushed out, faintly shrouded in what seemed to be a golden five-fingered mountain peak shadow. However, at this moment, the illusory figure of the golden five-finger mountain range spirit was strangely gradually disappearing. Figures completely revealed themselves, and each of them was still in shock, and had not yet recovered from the shock. They were Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and all the younger generations of the golden-winged rock clan. Jialo Changtian's figure was the last to appear in the space, wearing a golden robe, with the golden-winged rock pattern like a living creature, and the aura on his body was releasing a kind of ethereal aura at this moment. Chi-la-la, the huge golden space hole gradually disappeared, and no more golden lightning overflowed, and the blazing destructive energy completely disappeared. Phew, seeing Jialo Jueyu and the others come out, the experts of the golden-winged rock clan who were present suddenly let out a long sigh of relief in their hearts. If all the younger generation suffered such a disaster this time, then even the golden-winged rock clan would absolutely not be able to withstand such a blow. The main hall was destroyed, and the space was sealed for 100 years. What does that evil thunder want to do? The great elder looked at the sky in front, and his old face looked puzzled. He did not know why the golden crow burning sky thunder wanted to destroy the main hall by itself. At this moment, the space collapsed and was sealed for 100 years, which was equivalent to the golden crow burning sky thunder directly locking itself up for another 100 years. For the golden crow burning sky thunder, 100 years of darkness was enough to make it weaker and weaker. "Father," a young voice shouted, and a small body rushed out. At this time, the ink-black talisman on little Xingxing's body seemed to be no longer threatened, and quietly disappeared into little Xingxing's body. "Hey, I don't see that guy." Jialo Kaling raised her eyes and looked at the golden mountain phantom that had appeared before. That was Du Xiaofu's vain spirit, and Jialo Kaling thought that Du Xiaofu was also there. At this moment, Jialo Kaling realized that although some of the people who had come out were seriously injured, some were riddled with scars, and some were covered in blood, all of them had come out. Only Du Xiaofu was nowhere to be seen. "Why don't I see Du Xiaofu?" The experts present were like Jialo Kaling. When they saw the golden five-fingered vain spirit in a hurry, they thought that Du Xiaofu was naturally there. Chapter 1373. At this moment, everyone saw that at least everyone had come out alive, but Du Xiaofu was nowhere to be seen. "Open the space for me, my father is still trapped inside. Open the space for me, quick." Looking at the merged space, little Xingxing shouted at Jialo Changtian and the other experts anxiously. "Child, the space inside has collapsed and is sealed again. I'm afraid no one will be able to open the seal within 100 years. Jialo Changtian looked at little Xingxing and said. "No, my father is still trapped inside. I have to find my father." Little Xingxing shouted, golden flames surging in her bewitching eyes. Her blood seemed to have attacked her heart and she spurted out another mouthful of blood from her pale little mouth. Following another mouthful of blood, the golden flames in little Xingxing's bewitching eyes strangely faded and her little body's aura became weaker and weaker. I have to find my father, little Xingxing's voice became softer and softer. Her little body could no longer support herself. Originally, little Xingxing was relying on her own strength and the black tortoise divine shell to protect everyone. Little Xingxing was already forcefully resisting and suffered heavy injuries. At this moment, little Xingxing was anxious and her blood was attacking her heart. She could no longer support herself and fainted. Jialo Changtian immediately held little Xingxing in his arms and waved his hand at Jialo Jueyu and the others. He asked, "What happened inside?" In order to protect us, Du Xiaofu chose to face the golden crow burning sky lightning alone. If it weren't for him and little Xingxing risking their lives to protect us, I'm afraid none of us would be able to escape today. Jialo Jueyu's eyes surged with golden light as she looked at the merged space. She bit her lips with a complicated expression on her face. Hearing this, all the experts of the golden-winged Great Peng Bird clan trembled and their hearts trembled. Rumble, in the vast space, the golden lightning was dazzling. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was surrounded by a boundless sea of golden lightning, filled with dazzling golden lightning arcs. Standing in the middle of the golden sea of lightning, the rumbling sound of thunder resounded all around. A scorching aura of destruction constantly spread out from it, causing one's hair to stand on end. Standing in the middle of it, one's figure seemed exceptionally small. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was different. Both of his eyes were suffused with purple lightning, and his entire body was covered with purple gold lightning talisman runes. With his body as the center, waves of purple lightning emerged from the void, and purple-silver snakes flickered in the surrounding void. Du Xiaofu's pupils constricted as he stared at the enormous three-legged golden lightning bird in the sea of golden lightning before him. A murderous aura spread out from his body. It was as if he was the sovereign of lightning, causing the golden lightning in the surroundings to not dare to approach and to submit to him. Puchi, suddenly, Du Xiaofu spat out another mouthful of pale golden blood. Oh no, Du Xiaofu frowned, and a solemn expression flashed through his eyes without leaving a trace. The vain soul had protected little Xingxing and the others out of the hall, but the vain soul had still suffered great damage and dissipated in the end. The vain soul had been heavily injured, and the body had been injured instead. This kind of injury was not ordinary. What a strange martial vein. The three-legged bird formed by the golden lightning locked its huge eyes on Du Xiaofu and trembled slightly. Looking at the silver lightning arcs around Du Xiaofu's body and feeling the aura on Du Xiaofu's body, the three-legged golden lightning bird's eyes gradually revealed a kind of madness and greed. The three-legged golden lightning bird's fierce eyes continued to carefully size up Du Xiaofu, as if it was still searching for something. It muttered softly, "You seem to have spiritual thunder on your body. I can feel that there must be other spiritual thunders. Golden crow sky burning thunder, how about we mind our own business? If you want to escape, why do you have to deal with me? It's a strenuous and unrewarding task. Isn't it better to save some energy to escape?" Du Xiaofu's eyes turned, and he frowned slightly as he looked at the three-legged bird and said, "Ha ha ha ha." The three-legged golden lightning bird laughed, and its wings flapped as it laughed, bringing with it a golden lightning storm. It caused the surrounding golden lightning to rise and fall like a stormy sea, causing people to be inexplicably shocked. Retracting its smile, the three-legged bird's fierce eyes looked down at Du Xiaofu and said with madness and greed, "Kid, I've changed my mind. I don't plan to escape now and let those young golden-winged great rocks escape. Without a bargaining chip, it won't be easy to leave the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Fortunately, the heavens are on my side. You are much better than those young golden-winged Great Rocks. The martial vein in your body is very strange, but it's a pity that your cultivation is not enough. In addition, you should also have spiritual thunder on your body. If I devour you, the benefits will be huge. At that time, it will definitely be difficult for the golden-winged great rocks to trap me again. The heavens are really on my side. You want to refine me? Du Xiaofu frowned. So this golden crow burning sky thunder wanted to keep him here. It turned out that it was the same as the earth collapsing sky thunder in the Hehuan school. It wanted to refine him to obtain benefits. Of course, you can't escape anymore. The space outside has already collapsed. As far as I know, the surrounding space has been sealed and will only disappear after 100 years. No matter how strong the people outside are, they won't be able to enter. And after 100 years, those old fellows in the golden-winged Great Rocks clan think they can suppress me, but they don't know that after I refine you, they won't be able to suppress me so easily. At that time, I will definitely let them know how powerful I am. The three-legged bird cried out loudly. A bright and destructive golden lightning energy burst out from its huge body, as if it was filled with resentment. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's expression became extremely serious. He originally thought that obtaining benefits from the competition of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan was a great thing, like a pie falling from the sky. Who would have thought that in the end, he would once again be brought to this extremely dangerous place? It seemed that this golden crow burning sky thunder would definitely not let him go. His pulse spirit had been heavily injured. Even if he had the chance to escape with his pulse spirit, he couldn't even activate it at this moment. Moreover, under the control of the golden crow burning sky thunder, Du Xiaofu also knew that it would be difficult for him to escape easily. You're saying that this space has already collapsed and the people outside can't enter at all? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu looked at the three-legged golden thunderbird with a serious expression and asked. TSK, of course. No one can enter. 100 years is enough for me to refine you and advance a step further. More importantly, no one will be able to trap me at that time. The heavens are helping me. The three-legged golden thunderbird laughed coldly. Everything was going according to its plan. It didn't expect to have such a harvest this time. It was really being helped by the heavens. Is that so? If you want to refine me, I'm afraid you're still a little lacking. Du Xiaofu's originally serious expression suddenly relaxed at this moment. He smiled and activated the lightning martial vein in his body. From the surface of his body, purple lightning immediately spread out. It was extremely strong and young. Its aura was vast and mighty, as if it could punish the common people. The three-legged bird's fierce eyes locked onto Du Xiaofu's body. Feeling the aura, its gaze became increasingly greedy. It laughed disdainfully and said, "Insignificant human, then die." As its cold laughter faded, the three-legged bird flapped its wings. In this space, huge golden lightning bolts swept towards Du Xiaofu ruthlessly. Bright golden lightning bolts streaked across the space. Wherever they passed, the space was destroyed and turned into void. In an instant, they arrived in front of Du Xiaofu. "Fuck, do you really think I'm easy to deal with?" At this moment, Du Xiaofu was also angry. As his voice faded, a purple gold streamer rushed out from his palm like lightning. In an instant, it turned into a huge three-legged cauldron on his palm. The mouth of the cauldron was facing the front. Boom! At this moment, the golden lightning space suddenly trembled violently. A vast purple-gold thundercloud gathered out of thin air and occupied the sky. Its aura was destructive. Rumble. Then, a rumbling explosion spread in the space. A large area of purple lightning raged, as if there were countless bombs exploding in the void of the underground pit. The purple lightning and Du Xiaofu's lightning martial vein were the same. Their auras were the supreme of the lightning. At this moment, the pressure that spread out from the purple lightning was not something that ordinary spiritual lightning could compare with. At this moment, the golden crow sky-burning thunder was also affected. Everything happened in a flash. In Du Xiaofu's palm, the three-legged cauldron's mouth surged with purple lightning. In an instant, it turned into a huge purple lightning vortex. It directly swallowed the large area of golden lightning that was rushing towards Du Xiaofu. The golden lightning was very domineering and powerful. Its aura was extremely hot and destructive. However, at this moment, the purple lightning vortex in front of the three-legged cauldron in Du Xiaofu's palm was directly swallowed and absorbed. What is that? At this moment, the three-legged bird also felt something. Its fierce eyes were filled with shock. It stared at the three-legged cauldron in Du Xiaofu's palm. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was activating the purple lightning profound cauldron. Treasure, it must be a treasure. It's also a lightning treasure. The heavens have treated me well. In just a short while, the three-legged golden lightning bird's shocked gaze was filled with passion and greed again. It could feel that the three-legged cauldron was extraordinary. If it fell into its hands, it would be like a tiger that had grown wings. You deal with it slowly. I'm going to rest for a while. Du Xiaofu looked at the three-legged bird and smiled faintly. He knew that even if he had the purple lightning profound cauldron in his hand, he did not have much strength to deal with the golden crow sky-burning thunder. Moreover, he did not know if the purple lightning profound cauldron could deal with the golden crow sky-burning thunder. After all, the golden crow sky-burning thunder was already at the domain realm. However, Du Xiaofu was confident that if he hid in the purple lightning profound cauldron, the golden crow sky-burning thunder would definitely not be able to do anything to him. Since no one could enter this space, he was not afraid of exposing the purple lightning profound cauldron. Now that he was seriously injured, he needed time to recover. Du Xiaofu did not want to be entangled with the golden crow sky-burning thunder at this moment. Qi. As soon as Du Xiaofu finished speaking, the purple lightning profound cauldron rotated and hovered in the void. Then, Du Xiaofu entered the purple lightning profound cauldron and disappeared. The golden lightning profound cauldron was dumbfounded and it couldn't recover from its shock for a while. Chapter 1374. Do you think you will be fine if you hide inside? What a joke! The golden lightning three-legged bird screeched, its eyes filled with disdain. As it flapped its wings, it opened its sharp beak and a golden lightning gathered and spat out. With an even more frightening pressure, it ruthlessly smashed towards Du Xiaofu's purple lightning profound cauldron. Sizzle, the purple lightning profound cauldron spun and immediately turned upside down. An even more resplendent and destructive purple lightning erupted from the large cauldron. Crash! In an instant, the two bolts of lightning collided. The lightning energy was like a resplendent purple-gold firework, shooting into the sky. However, such a collision did not cause too much of a sonic boom. Soon after, a purple lightning vortex surged out from under the purple lightning profound cauldron. It was like a ferocious monstrous lightning beast had opened its lightning mouth and directly swallowed a large amount of the golden crow sky-burning lightning. How can this be? The three-legged golden lightning bird was shocked. It seemed to have sensed something as anger flashed across its fierce eyes. After which, it once again activated the resplendent and tyrannical destructive golden lightning. Golden lightning runes that filled the sky rippled in this lightning space, as if they had transformed into a resplendent golden lightning wave that swept towards the purple lightning profound cauldron from all directions with a momentum that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Rumble, the purple gold lightning wreaked havoc. A strange purple thundercloud occupied this golden lightning space. The purple lightning profound cauldron spun. The purple-gold lightning vortex below was like a terrifying purple-gold black hole, swallowing and spitting out a huge suction force. It directly pulled the golden crow sky-burning lightning that could topple mountains and overturn seas into the cauldron in an endless stream. Sizzle, at this moment, the surrounding scorching and destructive golden crow sky-burning lightning seemed to have been pulled by some invisible force and uncontrollably rushed towards the purple lightning profound cauldron. The moment the scorching and destructive golden crow sky-burning lightning came into contact with the mouth of the purple-gold lightning vortex, it immediately disappeared into the purple lightning profound cauldron and disappeared. Rumble, the purple lightning profound cauldron swallowed the golden crow sky-burning lightning, causing the golden lightning space to continuously tremble. Thunder roared like a tide, it was deafening, but no one could hear it at this moment. The countless heart-palpitating golden lightning wildly danced and swept towards the purple lightning profound cauldron from all directions. Sizzle, at this moment, the purple lightning profound cauldron was pulling the golden crow sky burning, swallowing the golden crow sky burning lightning. How can this be? This change made the giant bird's eyes filled with shock. It found that it had no control over its own body, and the three-legged cauldron was continuously devouring its energy. It couldn't even stop it at this moment. You damn it you! God, the giant three-legged bird was furious. It was not stupid. It knew that with the human's cultivation level and his current state of injury, even if he urged the lightning treasure to devour its energy, he would not be able to hold on for long. Sooner or later, he would be devoured, and then he would be harmed by the backlash. Rumble. The body of the golden three-legged giant bird moved horizontally, bursting out dazzling golden thunderbolts that blotted out the sky. It was like an eruption of heavenly thunder. The violent and blazing destructive aura of the thunderbolts rose to the extreme, continuously crushing toward the purple lightning profound cauldron. At this moment, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning wanted to use the most tyrannical method to destroy that human. As long as the human suffered a backlash, the lightning treasure would eventually fall into its hands. There was also the spiritual thunder and the special thunder martial vein in the human body. At that time, it would continue to evolve. 100 years later, the powerhouses of the golden-winged great rocks could no longer trap it. Unfortunately, the golden crow burning sky lightning's thoughts were correct. If it was an ordinary treasure, it was likely that it would be sufficient to cause Du Xiaofu to suffer a backlash and be harmed by it. But the purple thunder profound cauldron was absolutely not an ordinary treasure. The violet lightning profound cauldron spun as if it was spreading out. Countless violet gold spirit snakes shuttled through space as a violet gold profound lightning vortex gushed out, and it continued to swallow the blazing destructive energy of the sun crow heaven incineration lightning into it. Sizzle. The void trembled violently as the violet gold lightning vortex within the violet lightning profound cauldron continued to swallow the blazing destructive sun crow heaven incineration lightning. Around the violet gold lightning vortex, large amounts of violet gold lightning filled the air, and its aura was as if it could destroy the heavens and the earth. At this moment, no matter how many sun crow heaven incineration lightning surged over, the violet lightning profound cauldron would swallow them all without fail. Back at the Hehuan school, Du Xiaofu had also used the violet lightning profound cauldron to deal with the great earth-shattering lightning. But back then, the violet lightning profound cauldron had been isolated by the great earth-shattering lightning. In addition, Du Xiaofu's cultivation level and strength back then were vastly different from the great earth-shattering lightning. And now, although Du Xiaofu was severely injured, he was still an absolute nirvana martial honorable. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning was only at the initial domain level. Although the initial domain level was definitely not comparable to the honorable realm level, it was a world of difference. But at this moment, in front of a freak like Du Xiaofu, a nirvana martial honorable's cultivation level was not something that could be compared to an ordinary martial honorable of the same level. Therefore, it had closed the gap by quite a bit. At this moment, there was something more important. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning thought that there was no problem with its idea. It poured its vast power into the lightning treasure, wanting to cause the human to explode and devour him instead of continuing to attack the violet lightning profound cauldron. However, the golden crow heaven incineration lightning would never have thought that its method was undoubtedly sending a sheep to the tiger's mouth. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning did not understand the origin of Du Xiaofu's violet lightning profound cauldron. If it had known earlier, it would not have made such a stupid decision even if it was beaten to death. At this moment, Du Xiaofu could not be bothered with the commotion outside for the time being. He had absolute trust in the violet lightning profound cauldron. After entering the violet lightning profound cauldron, the ancient desolate space between his eyebrows flew out. Du Xiaofu also immediately entered the ancient desolate space. PFFF, faint golden blood was still flowing out of Du Xiaofu's mouth. After taking a deep breath, he stuffed a large amount of elixirs into his mouth. Let's heal first. After that, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged and formed a seal with his hands. He circulated the cultivation technique of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan and began to regulate his breathing. In this situation, Du Xiaofu was extremely decisive. No matter what, the most important thing for him now was to recover his injuries and strength. If the violet lightning profound cauldron could not withstand it, he would still have a way out. Walala, after a moment, in the misty ancient desolate space, spatial ripples slightly rippled. A boundless ancient aura filled the air. Du Xiaofu's body was also enveloped in a faint golden energy halo. The late autumn dusk always came especially quickly. As the sun set in the west, the wind in the valley carried a dense chill, driving the surrounding white fog to wander down the mountain. As the sun set, the shadows of the mountains gradually pressed down. The shadows became thicker and thicker, gradually blending into the night. However, it was soon turned into a silver-gray color by the bright moon. In front of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan's mountain, a figure stood quietly. No one left. Everyone's eyes were surging with a complicated expression. Father, quickly think of a way. Du Xiaofu is still inside. With the strength of the clan's elders, can't we break the seal with the combined strength of the clan's elders? Jello Kaling's delicate face turned pale. Her golden eyes looked solemnly at the calm sky in front of her. She seemed to be in a daze. There's no way. The seal was set up by the ancestors. The Great Elder and the Second Elder also participated in it. However, at that time, it was just a precaution. The seal did not leave a way out. It can only dissipate after 100 years. This has nothing to do with strength. There's no way to break it. Jialo Changtian sighed slightly. His eyes were suffused with a golden radiance. He muttered, "It's already been 3 days. Will there really not be any more miracles? This time, our golden-winged Great Rock Clan owes him a favor." On one side of the square, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo, Jialo Yueying and the rest of the younger generation stood quietly. This time, they had all escaped from death. These young disciples all had serious injuries on their bodies, and the majority of them were seriously injured. However, in these 3 days, they had only swallowed a lot of spiritual herbs. None of them left. They were all waiting spontaneously. It was as if each and every one of them was looking forward to something deep in their hearts. It was as if they were waiting for a miracle to happen. It's been 3 days. I'm afraid that the hope is already very small. Jialo Jueo looked at the sunset ahead. Another day had passed. The depths of his eyes were the most complicated. Jialo Jueo had never thought that in that life and death situation, that human would risk his life to protect them and put himself in a desperate situation. The golden-winged Great Rock Clan was born to be supreme in the Beast Clan. Their characters were extremely arrogant. However, in the face of the continuous shock of that human, in the end, he did not care about his own safety and sent them out of the desperate situation in the face of life and death. This made these arrogant golden-winged Great Rock Clan's younger generation deeply shocked in their hearts. They were all clear that if it were not for Du Xiaofu's help at the cost of his own life, they would definitely be buried in the Golden Crow heaven-burning lightning. None of them would be able to escape. If he can come out, I will never find trouble with him again. Even if he wants me to follow him in the future, it's fine. On Jialo Jueo's pale face, there was a golden light fluctuation in his sharp eyes. Back then, when Jialo Jueo found trouble with Du Xiaofu, it was only because of the superiority in his heart and the pride of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan. In fact, when he was defeated in the end, although Jialo Jueo had some resentment in his heart at the beginning, he later understood that there was always someone better than him. Just like what the second commander Jialo Jueu had said to him, that defeat was beneficial to him. After that, when Jialo Jueo heard that even Jialo Jueo, who had defeated the second commander Jialo Jueyu, was defeated by Du Xiaofu and even took a step back in the end, allowing Jialo Jueyu to escape unscathed, he was already convinced in his heart. However, the pride in the depths of his heart made him unable to step down. But this time, when he saw Du Xiaofu help his clan's disciples and put himself in a desperate situation to protect them and leave, Jialo Jueyu's heart was touched and completely convinced. Chapter 1375. Hearing Jialo Jueyu's words, the disciples of the same generation did not say anything, but their eyes rippled. Jialo Jueyu looked up at the sky, a faint golden light rippling in his eyes. His yellow robes with gold trimmings fluttered slightly, making him look like a flawless jade man. At this moment, even though he was standing there quietly, Jialo Jueyu still looked so beautiful and charming, with a unique charm. However, at this moment, Jialo Jueyu's face was also very pale. The golden light in his eyes slowly faded, turning into calmness. He said to the people around him, "This time, what we all owe Du Xiaofu is not just our lives. Not only am I not as strong as him, but he is also stronger than me." In front of the square, little Xingxing's small body stood, looking forward. His small hand held Zi Xian's hand, not saying anything, his face pale. "Father will definitely be fine. Mother, don't you think so?" After a moment, under the afterglow of the setting sun, little Xingxing raised his head slightly and asked Zi Xian. Zi Xian lowered her head, her faint purple eyes looking at little Xingxing. Her other hand stroked the hair in front of little Xingxing's forehead. Her red lips parted slightly, and her voice was like a fairy's as she said, "His physical body is different. The golden crow burning sky lightning is only at the initial domain realm. I'm afraid it can't do anything to your father. So, even if father is trapped inside, he will definitely be fine after 100 years, right?" On little Xingxing's pale face, his clear and bright eyes were suffused with a faint golden flame, still as enchanting as before. "I think so. He has a tough life. After so many dangers, he has been fine. This time is nothing." Zi Xian said softly, looking at little Xingxing with a faint smile. "Then, after 100 years, will father become old? He is a human." Little Xingxing pouted slightly and asked Zi Xian. He was a little worried. 100 years was nothing to demonic beasts, but to humans, it was quite a big impact. He has already reached the Nirvana martial saint realm. He won't be that old. Zi Xian raised her eyebrows slightly, then looked up at the sky. There were some ripples in her purple eyes that were so deep that it was difficult to see them. Divine Ape King, Little Ying Ying, Phantom Tiger King, and Ghost Chariot are all by father's side. I hope they will be fine. Little Xingxing softly muttered. His young and tender face was no longer as grave. However, there was no smile on his face either. Chi, the space fluctuated, and a rickety old lady appeared in the square. Her hair was speckled, and she wore a light golden robe. "Greetings, Sacred Elder." As the old lady appeared, the first elder, second elder, and the other elders and protectors all bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Sacred Elder." The surrounding golden-winged great rocks, Jialo Yueying, Jialo Juyu, and the others immediately knelt on one knee. "Mother, why are you here?" In front of the old lady, Jialo Changtian also appeared very respectful. "Let me take a look." The old lady nodded at Jialo Changtian and waved her hand to dismiss the elders, protectors, and disciples. Then, she looked at the sky in front of her, her eyes were calm as she said, "This old lady owes my grandson, owes him." "Grandma," Jialo Kai Ling stepped forward and looked at the old and stooped granny. She quietly supported the granny. "Great-grandmother." Little Xingxing came to the granny's side and said in a tender voice. The old lady held little Xingxing's little hand with her withered palm and gently patted the back of little Xingxing's head. Her wrinkled face that had been sculpted by time squeezed out a loving smile. "Great-grandmother, don't worry. Nothing will happen to my father. The golden crow burning sky lightning won't be able to do anything to my father. Little Xingxing said softly. His clear eyes were filled with determination. Yes, nothing will happen to him. The granny nodded with a smile in her eyes. Disciples of the clan, listen up. Suddenly, Jialo Changtian opened his mouth and looked at the calm space in front of him. His voice wasn't loud, but it was filled with an invisible wave. The sound wave spread out in all directions like a tide, resounding throughout the entire golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Today, I, Jialo Changtian, will take Du Xiaofu as my adopted son. From today onwards, Du Xiaofu will be the young clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Jialo Changtian's voice resounded in every corner of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. In the entire golden-winged Great Rock clan, all the disciples and young golden-winged Great Rock clan were shocked. On the square in front of the mountain, all the elders, protectors, Jialo Jueyu and the others were stunned. However, no one objected. Even the great elder and the second elder didn't say anything. Originally, the granny had taken Du Xiaofu as her adopted grandson. In fact, it was equivalent to Jialo Changtian's adopted son. However, there was still a big difference. But now that Jialo Changtian had said it himself, it was different. It was equivalent to gaining the true recognition of the entire golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Especially when Jialo Changtian said that Du Xiaofu was the young clan leader, it was even more important. It could be said that he was the future clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. If Jialo Changtian had made such a decision in the past, the great elder and the others would have reminded him. After all, Du Xiaofu was still a human. But at this moment, no one said anything. Everyone is inside. My grandson can't hear it. The granny looked at Jialo Changtian, took little Xingxing's hand and said softly. If he comes out in the future, he will also be my adopted son, the young clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Jialo Changtian replied. His voice seemed to echo in the square so that everyone could hear it. Then, he looked at Jialo Jueyu and the others and said, everyone, go back and treat your injuries. Rumble, in the space of the dazzling golden sea of lightning, the thunder subsided. How could this be? Damn it, what's going on? At this moment, the golden lightning three-legged bird wanted to escape, but it realized that it was too late. The strange three-legged cauldron rotated, and the purple-gold lightning vortex at the entrance of the cauldron automatically devoured the energy of the golden crow burning sky thunder. Although it had stopped sending itself into the tiger's mouth, the lightning treasure's automatic devouring speed was not too slow. If this continued for a long time, it would be enough to exhaust it. In this sealed space, the golden crow burning sky thunder had lost its connection with the outside world. It couldn't recover at all. How could this be? What is this thing? The three-legged golden lightning bird's fierce eyes were stunned. It tried its best to stop the three-legged cauldron from devouring its energy, but it found that the effect was minimal. It couldn't stop it. The purple-gold lightning within the three-legged cauldron even made it feel afraid, as if it could suppress it. At this moment, the golden crow burning sky thunder, from its original disdain and greed, began to panic and fear. It didn't dare to casually attack the three-legged cauldron lightning treasure. It was afraid that the more it attacked, the faster its energy would be consumed. In the misty space, Du Xiaofu's figure, who was sitting cross-legged, was surrounded by a golden energy halo. A tyrannical and fierce aura spread out. Chi, when the golden energy halo gradually disappeared into his body, Du Xiaofu's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. Golden light shot out from his eyes. Purple flames, starlight, and purple lightning surged at the same time. Then, they slowly converged into a clear and bright light. A mouthful of turbid air was spat out from his throat. A vigorous and surging aura shook the surrounding space, causing the purple robe to flutter. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's originally pale face had unknowingly recovered its rosy color. Spying on the vigorous profound qi in his body and the abundant primordial spirit power in his mind's Naiwan palace, Du Xiaofu's expression also secretly relaxed a little. Du Xiaofu estimated that it had already been more than a month in the desolate ancient space. He had only slightly recovered. This time, his injuries were not light. And it had only been a few days in the outside world. Du Xiaofu frowned slightly. He closed his eyes and released his mind, prying outside of the purple thunder profound cauldron. After a while, Du Xiaofu withdrew his mind and opened his slightly closed eyes, revealing a slight smile. As he probed with his mind, Du Xiaofu discovered that his purple thunder profound cauldron had been automatically devouring the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. The golden crow heaven-burning lightning had also begun to retreat. Without turning his gaze, Du Xiaofu seemed to be thinking about something. In the next moment, his figure disappeared from the desolate ancient space. Qi. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared, he was already outside of the purple thunder profound cauldron. His body was covered with a golden light barrier, isolating the surrounding golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Seeing Du Xiaofu appear again, the three-legged lightning golden giant bird stared at Du Xiaofu with its fierce eyes. Feeling the aura on Du Xiaofu's body and looking at Du Xiaofu's rosy face, the three-legged giant bird's eyes secretly surged with astonishment. Golden crow heaven-burning lightning, you can't do anything to me. It seems that I can't do anything to you for the time being. Why don't we both mind our own business and get along peacefully? Du Xiaofu raised his head and looked at the huge three-legged lightning golden giant bird. At this moment, the huge three-legged lightning golden giant bird in front of him was condensed by the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. How do we get along peacefully? The three-legged giant bird's eyes rippled. It seemed to be interested and asked Du Xiaofu. Looking at the three-legged giant bird, Du Xiaofu said without turning his eyes, "This space has collapsed. It seems that neither of us will be able to get out for 100 years. We can't fight for 100 years. Why don't we both take a step back? I won't deal with you and you don't provoke me. If you are willing to help me refine my divine body, I will help you if I can." Chapter 1376. Puny human, in your dreams. After I destroy you, everything will be mine. What right do you have to bargain with me? Die. Suddenly, before Du Xiaofu could finish his sentence, the golden lightning three-legged bird suddenly changed its expression and moved. Crash! In a short instant, large expanses of dazzling golden lightning suddenly surged out from all directions around Du Xiaofu. They carried a violent and blazing aura of destruction as they distorted space and enveloped Du Xiaofu. The golden crow burning sky lightning seemed to have the intention to negotiate with Du Xiaofu, but it was actually secretly attacking. As the golden crow burning sky lightning, how could it negotiate with a puny human? That lightning treasure, the other spiritual lightning, and the lightning martial vein in Du Xiaofu's body were all things that it coveted. How could it let go of such an opportunity so easily? Rumble. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Golden lightning exploded and swept around Du Xiaofu in all directions with a destructive force, enveloping Du Xiaofu. Bang bang bang, the lightning exploded. Immediately, a series of thunderous explosions resounded in the lightning space. Colorful golden lightning arcs exploded and filled the space. However, the moment the earth-shattering golden lightning exploded, the expression in the three-legged golden lightning bird's eyes changed drastically. Anger surged into its eyes. As the three-legged bird's eyes changed, a large amount of golden crow burning sky lightning mysteriously disappeared where the lightning had exploded. Buzz! Then, a purple-gold lightning vortex appeared and a three-legged cauldron appeared. Du Xiaofu's figure had long disappeared. Don't want to get along peacefully? Then I'll do as you wish. Du Xiaofu's voice reverberated in the lightning space with a hint of sharpness. However, his body had already entered the purple lightning profound cauldron. Damn human bastard, Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, the three-legged golden lightning bird was furious. It did not expect the human to be so fast. It was obvious that the treacherous human had been guarding against it. However, although the golden crow burning sky lightning was furious, it could do nothing. It did not even dare to attack the three-legged cauldron. It was afraid that its energy would be devoured more and more. At that time, it would become weaker and weaker. This space was too disadvantageous for it. However, Du Xiaofu, who had entered the purple lightning profound cauldron, did not look any better. In a space of the purple lightning profound cauldron, Du Xiaofu stood with his hands behind his back. Although he was still safe with the purple lightning profound cauldron, he couldn't really hide here for 100 years. How many years did he have to cultivate? Haofu's Alu. To Du Xiaofu had to Du Xiaofu had to, Du Xiaofu had Du Xiaofu's SS. He still had to save his master, the academy, and the 7-star hall's blood feud, and his family had yet to be reunited. 100 years might be nothing to other Nirvana realm martial venerables. However, Du Xiaofu knew that he could not afford to waste 100 years. The seal outside was different. Du Xiaofu did not know if he could get out by relying on his meridian spirit. However, this space was the space of the golden crow burning sky lightning. He could not get out even if he hid in the purple lightning profound cauldron. Naturally, he did not even have the chance to try, unless he could get rid of the golden crow burning sky lightning. Du Xiaofu could only smile bitterly at the initial domain-level golden crow burning sky lightning. It was already good enough that he could stay safely in the purple lightning profound cauldron. He was afraid that he would not be able to do anything to the golden crow burning sky lightning at this moment. If he angered the golden crow burning sky lightning, a cornered dog would jump over a wall, and a cornered rabbit would bite. When the golden crow burning sky lightning attacked with all its might, both sides would suffer. As he pondered, Du Xiaofu thought of many possible methods, but they were all useless. Trapped in the purple lightning profound cauldron, the first thing he had to get rid of was the golden crow burning sky lightning. It seems to be getting weaker. After a while, through the purple lightning profound cauldron and the golden crow burning sky lightning, Du Xiaofu could feel that the golden crow burning sky lightning was weaker than a few days ago. For some reason, it seemed that the golden crow burning sky lightning was unable to recover the power it had consumed. Sensing this phenomenon, Du Xiaofu seemed to have grasped something. The purple lightning profound cauldron had been devouring the golden crow burning sky lightning, but the power of the golden crow burning sky lightning was weakening. Although this weakening could not be sensed by those whose primordial spirit was not sharp enough, it would definitely become weaker if this continued. There's a chance. Suddenly, a glint flashed across Du Xiaofu's eyes, and a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Du Xiaofu estimated that as long as the purple lightning profound cauldron kept devouring the golden crow burning sky lightning, the power of the golden crow burning sky lightning would become weaker and weaker. Once the golden crow burning sky lightning was consumed to a certain extent, he would have a chance. And if he could strengthen himself during this period, his chances of winning would become greater and greater. Being in the purple lightning profound cauldron would not affect his cultivation at all. Talisman Dao, Martial Dao, and various profound mystical abilities required time to cultivate and comprehend. They could all strengthen himself. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu thought of refining his divine body. His original goal of entering the great golden-winged rock clan's secret ground was to successfully refine his divine body and achieve the true rock body. Before the golden crow burning sky lightning went berserk, Du Xiaofu had also clearly felt the transformation of his physical body by using the golden crow burning sky lightning to refine his divine body. However, given the current situation, Du Xiaofu knew that he could no longer use the golden crow burning sky lightning to refine his divine body. The purple gold profound lightning should only be above the golden crow burning sky lightning. I wonder, while thinking, Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly lit up and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The third level of the golden-winged great peng bird's body tempering technique required the most tyrannical spiritual thunder to temper the divine body. The purple gold profound thunder in the purple thunder profound cauldron, whether it was tyrannical or oppressive, was definitely not something the golden crow heaven burning thunder could compare to. Therefore, at this moment, Du Xiaofu suddenly had a thought in his mind. How would it be if he used his purple gold profound lightning to refine his divine body? As the thought flashed through his mind, it became more and more uncontrollable. Du Xiaofu indeed hoped that he could successfully refine his divine body and make his physical body stronger again. Let's give it a try. There shouldn't be a problem. Du Xiaofu said softly. He had already made up his mind and decided to give it a try. As his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in a vast void. The void was a little gray and there was a thick purple thundercloud in the sky. Within the purple thundercloud, there were purple streaks of lightning and a huge aura that made one's heart palpitate spread out. A powerful thunderbolt pressure spread from within it, causing a chill to rise on one's skin. The degree of overbearingness and might was definitely many times stronger than the golden crow sky-burning lightning at the same level. Begin. Taking a deep breath, Du Xiaofu looked at the churning purple thundercloud in the sky. In the next moment, he sat down cross-legged and formed a seal with his hands. Sizzle, at that moment, as Du Xiaofu's figure sat cross-legged in the void, a purple thundercloud with crackling electric arcs pressed down from the sky. Bright purple electric arcs flashed in the sky and shuttled back and forth in the gray space. The electric arcs that lit up the space made one's heart palpitate. An abnormally terrifying thunder might surged out and filled the entire void. Boom! In the thick purple thundercloud, strands of purple electric arcs quietly penetrated the cloud layer and the entire space could not help but tremble. Sizzle! At the same time, purple electric arcs spread out from all directions and pressed down at a speed that was as fast as teleportation. In an instant, the lightning flashed and the purple electric arcs turned into purple thunderbolts that burst out of the thundercloud. Dazzling light poured down and countless purple thunderbolts fell from the sky and densely fell on Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu's hand seals were quickly forming, but at that moment, he did not even activate any defensive means and directly faced it with his physical body. The purple gold profound lightning in the purple thunder profound cauldron was originally controlled by Du Xiaofu, and Du Xiaofu had already achieved the immortal Xian body under the purple gold profound lightning's forging. The purple gold profound lightning was destructive to others, but to Du Xiaofu, even if he bathed in the purple thunder profound cauldron, it would not be much of a problem. At that moment, what Du Xiaofu needed to do was to activate the golden rock's method of refining the divine body and absorb the power of the purple gold profound lightning to refine the divine body. Although Du Xiaofu had already achieved the immortal Xian body under the purple gold profound lightning's refinement. However, the golden rock's refinement of the divine body to achieve the true rock body was not the same as the immortal Xian body and they did not conflict with each other. If he could successfully refine the divine body, it would definitely complement the immortal Xian body and bring his physical body to a new level. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Purple thunderclouds rolled in the sky and a huge purple thunderbolt as thick as an arm fell down like an angry dragon. Wherever the thunderbolt passed, the space distorted. Many thunderbolts fell directly on Du Xiaofu's physical body. The bright purple electric arcs immediately wreaked havoc on Du Xiaofu's body. At that moment, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged as if he was unmoved. He absorbed the power of the purple gold profound lightning and began to refine the divine body. Bolts of purple thunderbolts surged into Du Xiaofu's body. The domineering and destructive power of thunderbolts instantly spread throughout his body and bones, bringing with it waves of domineering and blazing energy. Du Xiaofu closed his eyes and activated the golden rock's method of refining the divine body to absorb the power of the purple gold profound lightning. He was pleasantly surprised to find that, just as he expected, the purple gold profound lightning could completely replace the golden crow heaven burning thunder to refine the divine body. Its effect was even stronger than the golden crow heaven burning thunder. Moreover, All of this made it easier for Du Xiaofu to control, and the pain he had to endure was much less. When the thunderbolts fell and surged into Du Xiaofu's body, the pain it brought was almost negligible. With his own purple gold profound lightning and the immortal Xian body, how could Du Xiaofu's physical body feel so much pain? In his surprise, Du Xiaofu immediately immersed himself in refining the divine body. Chapter 1377. Time passed slowly. Ever since the 7-star hall was destroyed, Du Xiaofu had been hiding everywhere. He also had to be wary of people from the devil religion. Even when he left the Stone City, Du Xiaofu had been through countless battles. He had encountered many life and death situations and had escaped death many times. This made Du Xiaofu even more determined. He had to become stronger. As long as there was a chance to become stronger, he would not let it go. Refining his divine body to achieve the body of a true rock was not as simple as improving his physical body to another level for Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu himself had cultivated the cultivation technique of the great golden-winged rock clan by chance. Once he achieved the body of a true rock, it would be greatly beneficial for him in the future. The body of a true rock. The words true rock were enough to explain everything. Back when he was refining his body, Du Xiaofu had entered the true rock realm by chance. If he could achieve the body of a true rock now, it would undoubtedly mean that he could go further and further in the future. His potential was limitless. Thinking back to the ancient ancestors of the great golden-winged rock clan, the true rock looked down on the universe and flew up 90,000 miles. How domineering was that? At this moment, Du Xiaofu gave up on refining his divine body with the golden crow burning sky thunder. This was because no matter how one looked at it, the purple gold mystic bomb was stronger than the golden crow burning sky thunder. Back then, Du Xiaofu did not know the cultivation technique of refining his divine body. That was why he did not use the purple gold mystic bomb. If he had known earlier, Du Xiaofu would have tried it long ago. What Du Xiaofu was doing now was using the purple gold mystic bomb to refine his physical body and let it evolve. He was using the purple gold mystic bomb to nourish his physical body. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was completely immersed in refining his divine body. At the same time, he was comprehending the supreme beast energy of the great golden-winged rock clan. As time passed, 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 20 days, until the last 100 days and even 200 days had passed. Du Xiaofu was still immersed in refining his divine body. When he first entered the secret area of the golden-winged great rocks, he only had 3 months to refine his divine body. If he didn't succeed in refining his god body in 3 months, he wouldn't have many chances left. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu had been refining his god body with the purple gold Xian bomb for almost half a year, but there was still no sign of success. However, during this process, Du Xiaofu's physical body had indeed strengthened at a visible rate. Du Xiaofu's purple robe had been destroyed by the purple gold profound bombs at some point in time, and he was sitting naked with his legs crossed. Faint golden light surged and overflowed from his body. It seemed to have fused with his flesh and blood. At a closer look, one could see that there were golden talisman engravings flowing in Du Xiaofu's sparkling and translucent body. Those golden talisman engravings were related to the golden-winged great rocks. They were constantly condensing, like seeds sown in the soil. They were taking root and sprouting, beginning to show life. Du Xiaofu, who was sitting calmly, was glowing all over. His sparkling and translucent body was like a miracle. Electric arcs were fluctuating all over his body, and the talisman engravings were flowing. At a closer look, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, gave off an inexplicable feeling that he was a human-shaped golden-winged great rocks. Time slowly passed just like that. Other than the sound of thunder, the void was completely silent. No one would come in to disturb them. In this space, Du Xiaofu's eyes were tightly shut, as if he had completely entered a state of emptiness. Du Xiaofu's resolute face was as calm as water. There were no fluctuations in his emotions, but for some reason, he exuded a mysterious feeling. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was immersed in comprehending the supreme beast energy of the golden-winged great rocks. His body was tempering his divine body, and he had cast aside everything in his heart, including the reunion of his family and the blood feud between Tianwu Academy and the Seven-Star Hall. In this tranquil state of mind, Du Xiaofu comprehended divine abilities, tempered his body, and comprehended the profoundness behind them. This was a mysterious state that one could only come across by chance. Du Xiaofu knew that he would be trapped for 100 years and was unable to deal with the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning. Thus, he could only cast aside everything in helplessness and enter this state of serendipity. To cultivators, even if they cultivated in seclusion, they couldn't escape the influence of the secular world. It was very difficult for them to fully immerse themselves in cultivation. This naturally had a huge impact on their cultivation. Thus, the experts in the huge mountain sects in this world would hand over the mountain sects to outstanding juniors after reaching a certain level of cultivation. They would then try their best to cast aside everything and hide in the mountains to cultivate or wander the world to comprehend the great Tao. It was definitely not easy for ordinary people to cast aside everything in order to fully immerse themselves in their cultivation. Casting aside everything was just a few words, but it was extremely difficult to do. Only those with great perseverance and comprehension could truly achieve such a state. However, Du Xiaofu was currently in a helpless state and was able to do so. Once one was fully immersed in cultivation and entered this mysterious state of emptiness, the comprehension of cultivation would no longer be boring. Instead, it would be a form of enjoyment that came from the inside out. Without a doubt, Du Xiaofu was currently enjoying the joy that cultivation brought. Sizzle, suddenly, Du Xiaofu's eyes that had been closed for half a year suddenly opened. Golden light burst out and his eyes were filled with golden talisman patterns. It was as if the shadow of a golden-winged rock was about to fly out from the depths of his eyes. Why can't I succeed? I've reached the end of refining the divine body. Du Xiaofu murmured and his eyes were filled with doubt. The purple gold xian bombs were still falling around him. However, when they landed on Du Xiaofu's body, they didn't cause much of a disturbance. Du Xiaofu was in deep thought and doubt. It had been so long, but he still hadn't succeeded in refining the divine body. However, his body had already strengthened to an extreme. That feeling made Du Xiaofu feel like he was on the verge of success, but he still felt that something was missing. Thus, he couldn't break through the threshold. Deep thought, pondering, as the purple gold xian bombs continued to fall from the sky, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged in the lightning without blinking for more than 60 hours. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was in deep thought. Looking from afar, he looked like a fool. If someone were to see this scene at this moment, they would definitely think that Du Xiaofu had been struck into a fool by the terrifying purple gold profound lightning. Ha 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 ha! At a certain moment, Du Xiaofu, who was in deep thought, finally raised his head and laughed. His resolute face was full of smiles as he said, I see. I understand now. I finally understand. The body of a true rock. I'm a human. How can I become a true rock? Refining the divine feathers, cleansing the marrow, and also forging the physical body. Refining the divine body is a great city and achieving the body of a true rock. As for me, I'm a human. Everything returns to the origin. Refining the divine body, it's a true divine body. As soon as he finished speaking, Du Xiaofu's face was wild with joy. He formed a hand seal and guided the purple gold xian bombs into his body. Immediately, a rather strange crackling sound came from Du Xiaofu's body, as if his limbs, bones, muscles, internal organs, meridians, and acupoints were all resonating at the same time, reverberating sonorously. Du Xiaofu's body was glowing. Mysterious talismans were overflowing. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's entire body, from inside to outside, began to transform again. It was as if billions of cells and pores were emitting dazzling golden light. At this moment, if there were experts of the golden-winged great rocks here, they would definitely exclaim in surprise for Du Xiaofu. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's body was changing just like the body of a true rock. Du Xiaofu was moving towards the completion of the body of a true rock, but there was a slight difference between it and the body of a true rock. Du Xiaofu's body glowed. The purple gold Xian bombs covered his bones and tendons. Electric arcs overflowed. His entire body was sparkling and translucent, like a divine body occupying the void. Time was like quicksand between fingers. It couldn't be held and quietly passed. It had been a full 7 months since the incident in the golden-winged Great Rock's secret land. In these 7 months, Du Xiaofu and Xiaolong helped the golden-winged Great Rock's descendants under the attack of the Golden Crow's sky-burning thunder. In the end, Du Xiaofu even risked his own life to help everyone escape. The news that he was in a desperate situation had already spread throughout the entire golden-winged Great Rock's clan. All the descendants of the golden-winged Great Rocks were shocked and grateful to Du Xiaofu. If it wasn't for Du Xiaofu's help back then, the golden-winged Great Rocks clan would have suffered a huge blow that they couldn't bear. For the young men and women of the younger generation who had escaped death back then, 7 months had passed, but they still had lingering fears. They often thought of the purple-robed young man who risked his own life and ended up in a desperate situation. In these 7 months, little Xingxing was no longer ostracized by any descendants of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Little Xingxing also didn't go to the golden-winged Great Rocks medicinal field to steal spiritual herbs and treasures of heaven and earth. Instead, 6 months ago, little Xingxing entered the golden-winged Great Rocks earth realm to comprehend. For a full half a year, he had never come out. With the help of Jialo Kaling, Zi Xian entered the golden-winged Great Rocks heaven realm after an unknown transaction with the golden-winged Great Rocks. It had also been half a year. At dusk, the sun set in the west. The world was shrouded in golden silence. The distant mountains were covered in the sunset glow, causing half the sky to turn bright red like a belt of fire. Within the golden-winged Great Rock's earth realm, a small body swept out like lightning. In just a flash, it disappeared. What's the origin of this little girl? Her strength seems to have improved a lot. Outside the earth realm, in a simple courtyard, an old man with white eyebrows and a beard suddenly opened his eyes. A faint golden light flashed in his eyes before he continued to close his eyes. In a quiet courtyard in a deep valley. Great-grandmother. As the childish voice sounded, little Xingxing's figure appeared in the courtyard. Little girl, you're finally willing to come out. From the courtyard, Jialo Kaling's sexy figure walked out and looked at little Xingxing with a smile. However, Jialo Kailing's beautiful eyes were filled with golden radiance. She immediately stared at little Xingxing. After a while, the corners of her mouth curled up in shock. She couldn't help but curl her lips and say, "Little girl, your progress is really fast. How did you cultivate? How infuriating. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.